We should be live as of now. Boom, there we go. Oh, we already got people in the building. Hey Gigi, I don't know if you're still in here. You probably bouncing back and forth in between Les live, but
You might
uh
have.
thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Arlene Covington, hey everyone. Uh who else we got in here? Lioncrest Outdoors Gardening. Um it might be taking a while to kick on, babe. You got it now? Okay, cool. Lions Crest, Farmer Q, what's going on, brother? Thank you for being here. And then who else we got? Arlene Covington, hey Turf Therapy, love your channel, keep up the great work. Thank you, I appreciate that. Means a lot. You guys, all those comments, they mean a lot. I know sometimes it takes me like a week to get to them. I'm a busy guy. Y'all know that. I'm a busy guy, and I want to take the time to sit down and answer your questions. Uh, with a real answer and not just like a fly by night type of thing. So I take my time with those comments sometimes. Yeah, Gigi, you still in the house? That's what I'm talking about. Unicorn Lady Tech in the building. How you doing? NC in the building. Elevated Lawnscapes. Cam, that's right. You're from NC. That's what I'm talking about. Guten Yardman, my man Paul. Listen, if anyone is in zone five, uh, and you are doing yourself a disservice if you are not subscribed to Guten Gardening, because that guy will show you that you are able to grow anything if you put your mind to it in your zone. That guy has citrus. He has citrus in 5A, zone 5A. He's growing citrus. So the Reap 65, howdy. Hey, how you doing? All right, so got the intros out of the way real quick. I present to you the lovely Miss T from Beautee in the Garden. And one of her catchphrases that she makes sure she reminds you of every video she drops, there's beauty in everyone's garden. Now, I'll just give you a little backstory and I'm gonna let her speak. I stumbled across Beauty in the Garden, like most of you probably did. I just heard Led say something about her. So I was like, Beauty in the Garden, that's a dope name. Let me go check her out. And the first thing that I noticed when I landed on her channel is that her spacing and the organization of her gardening, of her garden, is out of this world. It's, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's beautiful. The way that she has everything just in its perfect placement. And we'll get into that tonight. Everything just seems like it's exactly where it's supposed to be. Nothing looks crowded, at least the things that I've seen. I haven't watched every single video, but I watched most of them. Everything looks like it's exactly where it's supposed to be. No one looks like they're struggling for space. Different plants perform differently, and there's really nothing we can do about that. But it looks like she really has that down to a science. And I that's the first thing that I took notice to. And right away, I scrolled to see how old her channel was. And I was like, oh, but she's only been on here for a year. I was like, there's no way she's a new gardener. There's no way she's a new gardener. And then, of course, speaking behind the scenes with Miss T, I discovered she's not a new gardener. And I think that's a perfect segue to let to let her tell you why she's not a new gardener, how she got into gardening, where it all started for her, and where it brought her to where she is today. And also, our worlds have kind of crossed paths without us even knowing. Well, she knew before me, I'm sure, but our worlds have crossed paths. We might touch on that tonight as well. So, without further ado, I bring you T from Beauty in the Garden. Go ahead and let the people know who you are, where they can find you, and let's open up with your history as far as how gardening was introduced to you in your life and what it means to you today and your family.
Well, you guys, I started the Beauty in the Garden just off of my hobby that I've done since I was a little girl. My grandma was a big, big, big inspiration of me growing food. Um, my grandma, we moved up north and we started mingling with just she growing cabbages and collards, things that we can grow up north. But we never had a big garden until we moved back down south. So my grandma pretty much taught me how to grow tomatoes and okra and corn and all those things off of just the basics of in-ground gardening.
Right.
So that's pretty much where my inspiration came from, is my grandmother
Right,
and my
right.
parents.
And your parents, right. Hi, little one.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hello.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. We not shy. Yes. That's your twin right there, by the way. My goodness.
Oh no, jeez.
Yeah,
You shocked.
yeah.
Okay, mama give you something to drink. So yes, the inspiration just comes from just being down south. My family is originally from South Carolina, so that's just something that we do, is
Yes,
grow
just
our own food. It's just a southern thing to do.
right, right. And
It's
not only
being
grow your own food, but you make sure you do what? You eat your own food.
what? Eat your own food.
That's
Okay,
right.
true
Yeah.
that. I,
Yeah. You don't just
true.
grow
That's
your
something
own food,
also.
but you eat your own food.
I try to put that. I try to put that in the videos where you still go out there and show you guys what you can do, not just go out there and harvest your food, but show you how you can enjoy and change and make different meals. That's pretty much my challenge, like home and garden, getting touching bases on that. So
Right.
yes,
Right.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
so
you guys.
so let me see. Let me see what we got here in the chat real quick. It really is Duckalope Outdoors. Listen, if you're into waterfowl, or if you want to be in the waterfowl, if you're interested in learning how to hunt and the intricacies that go into that when it comes to waterfowl, Duckalope Outdoors is your guy. He's also an active duty service member. We actually live in the same neighborhood. Please go check out that channel if you're interested in it. The guy has a lot of great content, and he's actually headed to Tennessee, I believe. So if you're in Tennessee, he'll be in your area here soon. Hey, Beauty in the Garden, your hair is braided just like mine. That's what Unicorn Lady said. Uh, Pitts,
I have
Pitts, I got your package.
dreadlocks.
Pitts. You said it's dreadlocks?
Yes, I have braid locks.
Oh, braid locks. Okay, cool. I'm not sure what that means.
Actually,
Don't judge me.
they're dread.
Yeah, okay. All right. Cool. So Pitts, I got my package today. I might even open it up at the end of this because I don't even know what I won. I just happened to put the right answer in your live, but I missed the part where it actually said what I won. So I might open that up at the end of this. Unicorn Lady says, I want my garden to be like yours. I know it's a beautiful garden, isn't it? Beautiful garden. Hey, Miss Craft, how you doing? Thanks for being in here. Tony and Dolores from Chulahoma, Mississippi. Chulahoma. What's going on? How y'all doing? Where we got, I think someone asked what your name was. I think I lost that comment. But her name is T, and the channel's name is Beauty in the Garden, and
Yeah.
it is in the description below of this video. So,
I think my baby knows that I went live.
said
Okay.
what?
I think my baby knows I went live.
Your baby knows you went live. Yeah.
Baby.
She's determined to be in this live with you. So another thing, this is Beauty in the Garden's first time being live, guys. So that's pretty cool as well. And I'm happy that she was able to let her first time being live on this channel. So that's great. So you got your inspiration from your grandmother, your parents. You grew up in an environment to where gardening was the norm, and it never became not the norm for your family, which is rare. A lot of families really moved away from gardening as they started developing better ways for us to eat, or easier ways for us to consume our meals, especially when everyone ended up with a TV in their house. We had TV dinners. If you look at some of those old ads and they say, mothering, a lot of people were still being a lot of still people were home. It was still the standard for moms to stay at home and take care of the house, and they were pitching these quick meals and things that just can save that home keeper a lot of time. But your family didn't let that deter them. You guys continued growing your own food. So I think that's really dope. That's really cool. And that's extremely unique. Now, fast forward, right? And we're here today, and something in you said, something in you, or maybe some people around you said, you need to go on YouTube. So you've been gardening your entire childhood, pretty much all the way up until your adulthood. And it was a, passive hobby, but something that you just couldn't really part ways with, and you enjoyed
Yeah,
doing it.
and it's just something that gardening just calms me. It
Hmm.
humbles me. It keeps me clear thoughts, So gardening just was always a part of me. My brother is the same way, so
Okay.
we just like digging in dirt. How about that? We just like digging in dirt.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. So I started channel because I had always posted pictures of like my cooking on plates or um, showing my garden. And then some of my friends were like, wait, why don't you do YouTube? And I was like, I don't know. Because it's my hobby, this is something that I do, my personal space. So
Right.
I was just like, oh, well, can I inspire more people to understand? It's such an enjoyable feeling to go out there and harvest your own food, eat your own food, and there's nothing better than that. So I was like, well, go ahead and do it. And I started my channel in one of those times where you really ain't much.
Right.
Um, you're pretty much, and it was like I started at end of December. It's,
Yeah.
wasn't much growing. It was just your greens. So my channel actually gets to see like the tomatoes and the bell peppers and all the colorful things. So it really made me see that people were really interested in growing their own food. So yes, starting the channel was very eye-opening for me.
Right, right. And and like you say, and I see it's a common theme. I thought I was special, and I thought I was special in terms of using lawn care initially. If you've been with me long enough, you know that my first love was the lawn. So, and then I found gardening thanks to the wife later on down the line. But the name of the channel being Turf Therapy, there is no in that meaning, it is exactly how it sounds. Your turf being your grass, your turf being your home, your turf as far as your, it's your squad or whatever it being. There's multiple meanings and layers
There.
to that term as far as turf, but it's therapeutic for me. And you guys know I'm an active duty service member. I suffer, and I wouldn't say struggle with PTSD anymore, because it has balanced this platform. You guys coming here, supporting me developing, going through the process of developing content, Elevated Lawnscapes. And I was talking to Cam from Elevated Lawnscapes, and I was talking to Farmer Q actually the other night from Lioncrest Outdoors Gardening, and we were discussing how we really enjoy the process of editing and putting together something that we're extremely proud of at the end of it. So for me, with me having a huge history with music and videography, just in my past as a youngster, it really evolved and it played really well. It was almost like everything I was doing in my life as a young child leading up to this moment was for this moment, my true passion, my true calling. And speaking of music, I just saw Polo Fields Lawn Service. What's going on, brother? How you doing? That man is a talented musician. At some point, I'm gonna bring him on the channel this season. You guys will see him in full effect. Eco, I don't know why they just hid that, and that's weird. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that permanently. This is long overdue. I'm not gonna ask. I'm just gonna fix this real quick, and then boom, you got you a wrench, brother. All right, so fast forward. Enough about me. You're not here to talk. You're not here to learn anything about me. You're here for T, Beauty in the Garden. So T, let's start out with something. Let's start out with a topic that we discussed that you kind of blew my mind with when we did our little behind the scenes meet and greet, just to get to know each other a little bit better. And I want to talk about seeds, right? In specific seeds, I want to talk about are GMO seeds, because when you said this, it blew my mind. And then when I told my wife, it blew her mind because it made so much sense. And of course, I fact checked. I took you for your word on the surface when you said it. But that was probably when we got off the phone. I think that was the first thing that I Googled just to make sure
To make
that
sure.
you knew what you was talking about. Not that I doubted you, but trust but verify is what they teach us. But let's talk about these seeds and people being concerned. If you are concerned about acquiring GMO seeds, let's go ahead and put that to bed right here today. And T, tell them what you told me.
Whenever you buy seeds from the grocery store, from Lowe's, Home Depot, any hardware store whatsoever, you would never ever get GMO seeds, ever. So if the packet says it, it's just so you can feel great and secure. But there is no GMO seeds in the stores. It has to be farmers only can get GMO seeds. Then the only people that can get genetically modified seeds. The seeds in the store will never ever be genetically modified.
Mm-mm.
So if it says non-GMO, it's just to make you feel great.
It's just to make you feel great. That's a marketing scheme, marketing tactic, right?
It's a marketing thing.
Right. So
And
like,
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
going into detail with it, but there's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. The
What's
seeds
that?
come from the same company. Most of them.
Most
If you
of
look
them
at the
do.
addresses on the back of your seeds, you will actually see that they come from the same place. And you're thinking, oh, I just paid $1 something. And you can go get the same 25 pack of seed, 25-cent seed, and it comes from the same place.
25
So
cents from where?
it's just
From
like
where? From where?
from the Dollar Tree,
That's right.
Dollar General, Family Dollar.
Coming with the win.
I mean, these places, if you look at the seed packets, you'll see the same information and the same address. Those are the people that are issuing these seeds, and you're just paying extra because it's in a different location.
Right.
So you just got to be mindful of where you get them. So, and everything has a date on it regardless. They all going to have an expiration date on the packet. So you'll never have to worry about if you get old seeds. So
Right.
that's just one thing that a lot of people waste a little bit of change on that I don't.
And time. Mary Campbell, yes, it is therapy. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for being here. I saw another person I didn't get after earlier. Who was that? Patricia Roberts. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And then Broke, my cousin, your cousin, everybody cousin, Broke Farmer 76.
Hey, Broke.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. But isn't that crazy, guys? Because my wife, when I told her, she was just like, I've wasted so much time in seed stores and online looking for the label non-GMO. And it makes sense because even if you're here on the lawn care side, right? Think about it. There's certain things that DIY people just can't get their hands on from a big box store. And even if you go to an agricultural store, there's still a slew of products that you just can't get your hand on without being a professional with that business license, without specifically requesting those certain products. And GMO seeds is one of those things that fall into those categories. Now,
there's one thing I wanted to touch bases on. Okay. It's another thing. A lot of people think that when they see the different colors on the seeds, it has something to do with a chemical or something like that. It is not. It's just clay, colored clay. So it'd be easy for you to pick up the seed.
You're talking about the coated seeds, the coated seed?
Yeah, it's just clay.
It's just clay with a color on it.
Just color, to keep easy for you to pick it up, and you don't have to go through a lettuce seed and be like, oh my gosh, I got too many.
Right.
So that's what the coating is. It's not a chemical or anything like that. It's just clay dirt, color coated, so that you can pick it up and not put so many seeds down.
Look at that.
That's all that is.
We got 2 gems in less than what? How long we been live? I don't know. It doesn't tell me. I'm sorry. How long we been live? We got 2 nice solid gems. So that's cool. What do we got in the comment? It makes me feel great. Dollar Tree balling. Thanks you for dropping that link, Eco. I appreciate you, brother. Miss Craft, the reason the Dollar Tree seeds are cheaper is because they are approaching expiration. They're still good. they're still just as good, and if stored properly, will last you for years. That's great info. My mom's in the
Yep.
building. Everybody say hello, mama therapy with M Palmer, whatever you want to call her. Show my mama some love, please, people. That's the one who birthed the one who is standing in front of you today. And if you enjoy my content, it is all from that woman right there. Matter of fact, she helped me come up with the name of the channel. So boom.
Great
PT's
name.
Urban
Great
Pantry.
name.
Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you. I didn't know why the seeds were colored. Boom. There you go. Now you know. Okay. So I want to shift gears. One thing that we hit, right? I was talking to you about how the spacing in your garden, everything just seems like it has the adequate space that it needs to do whatever it needs to do throughout its life cycle. And one thing that I bought that you guys will be seeing this year, it's not a necessity. I will be using it to show you whether or not it would be worth your while. But me being a beginner gardener, I bought a spacing ruler. And the reason why I bought a spacing ruler is because I had an issue. I want to get better at succession planting. And when I'm direct sowing some short crop seeds like beets, radishes, root vegetables that turn over quickly, right? I want to make sure that my spacing is a little bit more precise. So I'm doing that because I have a slight like OCD tick and whatnot, and I just want uniformity, and I have a plan to
I have a little bit of
to,
that.
to maximize that. And it might help a little bit. It might not help at all. Needless to say, I bought it and I'm going to show it to you. And then that way you can decide whether or not it's worth your while. Right. But when we were talking about your spacing, outside of that, there was something that you touched on, and we were talking about understanding the plants as far as what the roots do. So there's certain plants that it's a big plant, but not necessarily the roots are going to go that deep. And then the plant is, a nice size and it creeps, but maybe the roots stay in one place. And one of the really good examples that you gave me that you were doing was you were planting your tomatoes, and then I'll let you finish it up from there. Take the stage. Take the stage. Walk the people through.
Plant according to root system, because you can always take off foliage and aerate your plant. So when I look at it, I'm not going to eat all the leaves off the tomato. I'm not going to eat the bell pepper leaves. I'm not, so those things you can always cut and get aeration going. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to the root ball, that's what the biggest issue is. Right. You need to determine how deep is that plant root system. So that's how you can stagger your plants where they won't take up the same ground or the same nutrients, because they're on different levels of soil. And I think a lot of times when we plant, just like I have tomatoes, mm-hmm. and then in between each of those tomatoes, I had the bell peppers, hot peppers, and then in front, I had my onions. Mm-hmm. They all take up different root systems. So they were able to grow to their full potential, which you would be like, oh my God, how can you grow that when my bed is only a foot wide?
Right.
That is how, is understanding the root system, not so much the foliage.
Right. And why are you able to get away with placing bell peppers in between tomatoes? Let's peel that layer back real quick and just let's go a little deeper on that. Explain to them why
you look at a tomato root system. You already can plant a tomato a foot deep. Once you have a start, you can plant it. You can remove the first 2, 4, 3 layers of leaves and plant that directly in the ground. The root system already is going to be much further than your bell pepper your bell pepper root system. So that's how you're able to not have to worry about, by the time that tomato starts sprouting out more roots throughout that stem, the bell pepper has already established itself, where the tomato doesn't want that area anymore. It wants to keep going down, further down. And that's how you were able to plant certain things like that.
Right. Right.
My baby locked me out my phone.
You back now, though. So I have a question for you. Now, did you get this knowledge from a specific place as far as the root? Was this knowledge passed on? Did you consume it on some type of platform or some type of medium that you can hold in your hand? Or was it from experience?
Your own experience.
Own experience.
Yeah.
And just understanding the plant and how it grows.
Understanding the plant. And two, you can actually Google online if you don't haven't done it yet. They can tell you how far or how deep a tomato root can go. It tells you the dimension. Can you still see me?
Yes. Yeah, I can still see you.
Shrunk.
She's busy. It's okay. The people are with us. The people are with us. Y'all understand. I'm sure the parents in the building can understand. It's gonna be all right. Let's just stay focused. It's all good.
But yes, you can Google how deep a root system can be per plant. So you can have some kind of rough idea of how to go ahead and plant your plants and stagger them throughout your garden if you have small spaces. Now, would I tell you to do this in a pot? No, because the depletion of soil is just one of those things that I wouldn't do it. If in a raised bed, yes, or in-ground garden, yes. But as far as pots, I wouldn't advise it.
Mark's in the building. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Thanks for popping in on your lunch break. Now, now that you brought it up, that's a perfect segue into the container gardening portion. We talked about, so for me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to give you a little, what is this? This is a confession to you guys. I am like 52% over container gardening. And this is why. Hear me out.
Okay.
Not because I don't enjoy it and not because I don't understand the pros of container gardening. It's because due to my current situation, it is my only option. And I have noticed with heavy feeding vegetables that you have to feed them, and you need to feed them properly on time and at the right moments to get the same type of produce that same type of yield that you would get if you were going in ground. So I'm almost over it because I'm frustrated because I look at the plant and I'm like, I know I did everything right. Perfect example, the video I'm shooting tomorrow that we'll release sometime next week. I'm going to show you all of the Brussels and broccoli. Well, not broccoli. It's called broccoli romanesco, but I later found out that it was actually a cauliflower, but it looked really cool, so I grew it anyway. Why? on one of the broccoli romanescos, I have the head started to form is very small, but these things where I did things right, I had the spacing right. I didn't get any heads on any of any heads worth mentioning or taking any pictures and bragging about or showing you. But I've been eating the foliage. Don't get it twisted. These brassicas, even if you don't get the flower head and whatnot, you can eat that foliage and it tastes good. And I personally think that the Brussels sprouts that I grew here in my garden, that foliage tastes better than collards to me. It's just my opinion. Don't come after me. Don't sue me. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Don't beat me up. But that's how I feel. But one thing that you mentioned during our little meet and greet session is that a particular way and mindset when it comes to feeding these vegetables these vegetables, these plants that you have in containers. Can we touch on that a bit? Because I really liked your perspective on that.
As far as like me explaining like the food scraps or just digging the hole.
Well, the food scraps, the digging the hole and doing things that make sense when you see a plant struggling and that one's doing good. I don't want to give away too much because I want you to reveal it. Yeah, there we go. You pick it up now.
When you are doing container gardening and you have 5 plants in a container and you have them spaced out, say for instance, 2 of them are doing amazing, the other 3 is not. Don't go and fertilize the whole entire container garden. Don't go fertilize all those plants again, because that big plant is just going to want to suck up all that fertilizer, and then the little plant's just going to be like, so I missed out again. And it's not going to grow. It's not going to get the sunlight. It's not going to get all the nutrients and vitamins and all that stuff that's in that soil. It's just not going to bring in all the minerals. It's the other plants just going to take it all. It's just going to suffer. You're better off just taking the plants out and just leave the two big ones in the container. It's not going to ever do what you want it to do.
Right.
So we touch bases on that, because I've realized a lot of times most gardeners will just go ahead and fertilize the whole thing. Just fertilize what needs to be fertilized. Don't waste your fertilizer on plants that are doing great. Most likely they don't need it. So yes, definitely don't do that, because it's just a waste of your money and your time.
Right. And I'm guilty of that. And, you know, and these are notes that I'm taking and I'm learning from these more experienced gardeners that I'm going to be applying very here soon. We're about to, I'd say about mid-February, these little interviews, introductions, co-hosts, whatever you want to call them, they'll be pretty much wrapped up. I'll still do them throughout the season because it seems like you guys really enjoy them, and I enjoy doing them, and I enjoy bringing you these other people that I'm seeing so I can help you learn just as much as I'm learning. But of course, I digest, I consume all of that information, and then I apply it in my garden. I try to show you what's working for me. But keep that in mind as you move forward in your gardening season, guys, for sure. Keep that in mind. Now, I want to pivot for a moment, right? And I want to talk about the video that really, I mean, from the outside, you know, as far as the views are concerned, the video that really blew up for you, and that dives into home decor, budget friendly, very creative ideas, and what's your process like? Is do you walk into it saying, I want to spend as little money as possible, or do you walk into it saying, I'm going to make this as cute as possible, and this is my budget, or something like that? Like, how does that process work, and what kind of advice can you give to the men and women in here that are looking to do some very simple area beautification and bring their landscape and their foundation, their area around their home to a whole nother level that makes it appealing to the eyes when they pull up home? And what really got you into that as well? That'd be dope to hear.
So, you know, my front porch video actually what blew up and got up to 24,000 views. And that was my front porch video. And I pretty much, when I do my decoration in the garden or even on the front porches, I always look for a budget. So it has to be pretty. That's one. It has to be pretty. And just because it's cheap, I always look for sales. Okay. I always shop out of season. So actually, these expensive items that I would get them when they're 70 and 90% off. I shop out of season. And I just like, I have a ton of decor pillows to decorate my porch, my front porch, my back porch, the garden. And I just have those things because by the end of the season, all the beautiful flowered pillows and birds, and nobody wants them for the winter. So they'll mark those things down 90%. And I'll pay maybe 50 cents, $1 for something that was like maybe $5, $10, $20. I always look at the big picture of saving as much money. And I just was on the phone with my mother about this. I went to the store and got some clay pots. Okay. Y'all gonna see these clay pots in the video soon.
Okay.
I got all these clay pots because they had nips in them. Gotcha. And clay pots are known to break.
Yes.
But you can seal those cracks. And you can get them for 50, 60, even 70% off.
Right.
And instead of me paying full price for something that I know that's not really a big deal, I'm going to take that home and fix it up. And then most of the time when you see it, it's going to be like, oh, she spent some money on that. No, I didn't.
Right. And
I really believe that people should shop on a budget. That's just like when it comes down to the seeds we were talking about. I look into that. I used to coupon a long time ago, and I realized that companies flip things for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because it will go in the trash and they'll get their write-offs. So why not get it when it is on sale?
Right.
You know, it's if it doesn't go, it goes back in or they toss it. So
Right.
always shop out of season, even down to fertilizers. Shop
Right.
out of season and you
I-
save an abundance amount of money. And you'll be surprised. I'm going to show y'all my arsenal too of all the things that I have as far as fertilizers, bone meal, blood meal, worm casting, all the things that I have that I get out of season.
Out of season. So the number one tip is shop out of season, people.
Shop out of season.
For your story, I hope you saw the show. You say okay, thanks. Yeah, okay, thanks. Brazil Grady. Good evening, Beauty in the Garden and Turf. Stopping in to say hi. Going into a meeting shortly. I'll look at the replay later. Have a great evening. Thank you. I appreciate you stopping by. Great advice. Shop out of season. Boom. That's right. Everyone picked that up. Broke Farmer. I'm sure you.
Broke Farmer, you read my comment that I left you. And when I told you that you can go to Lowe's and get free pots, it's a recycle thing where people just bring back their pots and you can ask Lowe's and be like, can I, do you have any recycled pots and get those? Believe it or not, even down to soil, you can get a bag of topsoil. You got to think an in-ground gardener can garden out of the regular dirt. Okay. You can get topsoil and you can add in your food scraps. And before you know it, you have the most nutrients efficient soil that you made yourself for the little of nothing.
Boom. There you go. Now, Guten Yarden, great point, Paul. He says the plants will still grow in a cracked pot, no doubt. That's for sure, because they will grow in the cracks of these sidewalks out here. You know what I mean? Mark, that's right. That's perfect. That's a perfect statement, Mark, because Mark says, ask to buy any broken bags they might have. And not only did I actually was thinking of Aunt Linda, TNOG, the New Orleans garden. Y'all know that's my auntie, not my real auntie, just in case y'all were confused. But I adopted her because I just felt like she was my aunt. But anyway, that's a big thing that she does. She goes and she looks for the broken bags of soil, and then I was going to shift gears to my lawn care people that happen to be in here right now and tell you, lawn care people that are in here, just the same way you look for that broken bag of fertilizer, these same applications apply. And I got something special for my lawn care enthusiasts that are interested in dabbling in the gardening world realm coming up in February. I got a lot of hot stuff coming for you in February, because that's really when my gardening season at the very least kicks back in. I'll be giving you a lot of 101 lawn care things to get your mind turning for the cool season long, because there's some decisions you have to make before March on like pre-emergence and stuff. Like I won't be doing pre-emergence here because I don't need to. And I'll go into that in a little more depth, but needless to say, it's great. It's great to kind of do overarching. I love how these things blend together. I can't grow anything in my backyard. The rabbits will eat them. Sounds like you need to eat the rabbits, and then that's all the problem. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Polo? Nah, rabbits, I think rabbits are probably easier to deal with, regardless of the Roger the Rabbit. Really, Roger Rabbit movie should have been based on the squirrel, because those are the real ridiculous, rude, unforgiving people out there. Like the rabbit is nothing compared to the squirrel as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So you talked about burying things.
It's like
I like what you told me what your family used to do. Let's talk about what your family used to do back in the day, and as far as using your spacing properly, and the digging and then let's bring it forward to real time. Let's hit that, because I thought that was pretty interesting.
Like as far as fertilizers and stuff like that, it was not needed, because your plants are full of nutrients. When the season has ended, you want to go ahead and just bury those plants back into place, and you'll go and make a trench next to it. So you have all that nitrogen, potassium right there, and those leaves that are decaying and then you just plant right next to it. So that's one way of not having to deal with that. And as well is planting beans over that crop. That will fix, you wouldn't have to buy fertilizer because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Beans take all the nitrogen, all that out of the air and bring it back into the soil. So it is a nitrogen fixer. So that's why you hear people say something about cover crops. You see big farmers all of a sudden have these cover crops that they just maul back into the ground. That is the reason for it. So they don't have to put in all these different type of fertilizers. Yeah. So if you're not growing in your beds or even in your pot, plant a bean. Even in the winter, you can plant snow peas, you can plant broad beans. Those beans actually will still grow in the winter and it will still fertilize that soil for you. So when it's time come, you have great soil.
Right.
A lot of people don't do it. Another thing is too, is burying their food scraps and making sure that you don't disturb the soil. Do not disturb the beds. Okay. I do not dig in my beds. I don't dig in my beds. I don't know if you watch my videos, I can just take a shovel and I have a ton of worms. A lot of life is in the soil. And if you maul it all up, you're starting all over. So don't do that. I advise not to do that. Now, if you want to do it, but I advise that you don't do it because you're disturbing the life of your soil. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. And what she's talking about right now, if you caught the live with myself and Mark, Lawn Crease Limited, when we gave you a nice little soil overview, he will be coming back to the channel, hopefully in the beginning of February, maybe sooner. If not, he will be back on the channel. You can guarantee that. But one of the things I was talking about, as far as when you turn that soil, there's different layers of life within that soil profile, right?
Yeah, died and all of that.
What's the microbiology. So that microbiome is oh, Levita, my sister's in the building. Everybody say hello to my sister. It's Levita Critchlow. Yeah, I just put you on blast. That's my sister. Sisters in the building. Thanks for checking in. But yeah, so that's what she's talking about. Be careful. Just in some cases, it's necessary. Some cases it's necessary to break that soil up, to loosen it up, especially if you're about to drop a brand new tree or something like that. But in most cases, I find that it's not necessary. And one commonality, one thing that I'd like to add on to that she was mentioning as far as these nitrogen fixers, something that I didn't know. And I recently learned when I was in the Master Gardener's course, which if you weren't tracking, I finished it, passed. I didn't get 100% on my test. I'm kind of mad because the program, I would have gotten one wrong. I'm gonna be honest. I would have gotten one wrong because I just didn't know the answer. And I wanted to rebuttal that one. But the way that the program was set up, if you touched anywhere within that area of the answers of the section, then it would change your answer. So I ended up getting like 4 wrong. I was pretty upset about that because I like to perfect things as much as possible. But one thing I learned was most of your nitrogen fixers, if not all of them, they are using the nitrogen while they're growing. Let's remember that. They are pulling it in and they're putting in their root system and it's stored in their root system. Now, when the plant is done and you harvest it and you chop the top off or when you plant it back in the ground, that's when it releases all of that nitrogen. So you saw me earlier in the earlier in the season, I was planting things near things thinking that that nitrogen was going to the plants that it was next to immediately. And that just wasn't the case, not for those things that I was planting. So keep that in mind when you're planting your nitrogen fixers. It's a fixer, not a nitrogen introducer. It's a fixer. So that means it fixes it after the fact. So just keep that in mind. That's good intel, good information to know. Congratulate. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You did that in containers. I've never pretty much touched base on the channel yet about it, but if you guys ever seen my composting pile, that is actually not truly a true composting pile because it's cold compost, But what I do is I take all my old containers, pots, and I dump them.
Mm-hmm.
I dump them in a pile, and with all my old straps and everything, worms and everything wants to have their life cycle in there. So when I put everything in my pots is actually not dead soil. It's
Right.
actually alive because I have things that regular um, gardening soil that you buy, potting soil that you will buy, doesn't have life in it.
Nope.
So I I don't buy soil to put in pots. I let it go out into the ground out there and get life in it. And that makes my plant happy.
Right.
And that's a lot of times I think a lot of people say, oh, I gotta go buy this expensive brand soil. It has all that synthetic bio.
Mm-hmm.
We need the natural bio. And then
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to buy these things. You don't have to keep fixing these things,
Mm-hmm.
rotating that soil.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you end up with getting something like you want to plant like lettuce that needs a little bit more aeration, drainage, then add perlite
Yes.
or add bark,
Yep.
something that makes sure that soil does not stay saturated where the plant will rot out.
Yeah.
Um, or if you have a plant that seems like it's stunted, get vermiculite. Vermiculite will help with the root growth. So that's another thing that you need to understand between the two, between perlite and vermiculite, is understanding what you need it for. I had those things. I had it for about, let's see, 10 years maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and I finally ran out. You don't need as much as you think you need.
Right.
So just be mindful of what the plant needs or
Right.
seedling needs. And that's another thing too, is I'm on that too.
Right. Right.
Don't
And
go buy expensive
so
don't
you,
go buy expensive starting mix and all of that. Yeah.
yeah, I haven't bought certain mix since the first time I bought seeds was almost in a few weeks. It's going to be a year to date when I took you on my trip to Home Depot to buy seeds when I
Mhm.
didn't even understand that there was a warm season and cool season crop. And you would see the proof of that because I started all those seeds all at the wrong time. And I just got lucky. I got really lucky. And because I was in containers, I was able to move stuff
Move
and,
them.
and make
Yeah.
microclimates. So it worked out in my benefit. But to be honest, I should have had a lot more failures. Ma, thank you for the $10. And you actually just reminded me, Paul, I'll be sending you an email tonight because I'm pretty sure I owe you money from our live. So if you don't know, now you know, T. Whenever someone donates money while I have a guest on, that money goes to my guest because you are giving me your time. And not only am I learning from you, but you're sharing your knowledge with my audience. So,
And
and
I didn't say thank you for having me, did I?
well,
I
I
think
think
we
you
said
did.
it before we actually went on.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
regardless, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you guys for all the congrats. You said they canceled your spring gardener program in your city. That's sad. But mine went virtual, so it worked out. Are you sure this is Beauty's first live? Hashtag rolling. I know she's crushing it, but it is
Oh,
very much her first time. I told her she needs to
thank you.
go
Thank
live
you.
a little
It's
more
my first
often.
time going live. I'm
Yeah.
kind of nervous. I actually, during when I film and I'm talking to myself,
We were talking about that.
sometimes my words, I just be like, oh Lord, what did I say? And even and when I go back and try to edit, I don't even realize certain things because it's just like, oh, my nerves is bad. Nerves bad. So, so I be in my backyard talking to myself, and I'm just like, oh God, what did
Yeah.
I say? So yes, it's yeah, going live is
Oh,
nerve.
and Miss Craft kicked out some gems. There you go. You done made you $20, Beauty. There you go, Miss T. Thank you. I appreciate it. Number one fans. Both of y'all are my number one fans for real. Matter of fact, Miss Craft, I was talking to Miss Craft today, guys. I'm gonna let you know if you were interested in making wine the easiest way possible. Look no further. In about 5 days, I'll have the simplest recipe, the simplest method that you could ever ask for, and it's
This crap will be mad at me.
going to be delicious. Miss Craft would be mad at you. Why?
Yes, I had two big mustardine vines, and I mean big.
Uh-huh.
And
What happened?
cut it down.
Mm. Yeah, I'm mad at you for getting Miss Crab.
I had two big ones. I mean, where
Yeah.
when you lifted the leaves, it was just black. That
Oh
it's just
man.
dark, just that much grapes. And yeah.
Yeah.
But I did went ahead and started the new ones, but I think it was getting out of hand. It was too close to the gate. So yeah, can't have it going over in the neighbor's yard.
Right.
So it had to be something that I had the trellis a little ways away to make sure.
Yeah.
So it was so beautiful. It was beautiful. I could have been making some wine.
Right. Right. You could have been making some wine right along with us, but there's
Next
always next time. There's
time.
always exactly. There's next time. Oh, and Lion Crest just sent some love your way too. I appreciate it. And let me tell y'all something about Farmer Q, man. And it's very rare I hop on the phone with someone and I'm not in a rush to get off, right? Because I don't like being on the phone. I like to do my talking in person, both in business and in pleasure. I just don't like being on the phone.
No, you
But
lucky you get text.
I just, I'd rather, I don't even like the text, to be honest, because text, things get lost in translation. There's no context behind text.
You saw my text, didn't you?
When you,
Terrible.
when you text, you lose the con and then you can misinterpret things. But I was on the phone with Farmer Q and him and I were on the phone much longer than I intended to. And one thing that I really like about this brother is that out of all the people on YouTube, and this is not to take anything away from anyone, and but when you see someone that you feel like you can really relate to, you just feel like they think like you, they move like you, they have the same problems with their brain spinning just like you. Farmer Q is that dude, and I won't elaborate on it, but you'll see more of him in the near future, right here on this channel. So you say you joining in on the winemaking, GG? That's what I'm talking about.
Right,
Yes.
GG.
Yeah, because my sister is dope.
I want your wall.
Is this your sister? Plusin?
It. Hey,
It by TC. She said, because my
sister.
sister is dope. Yeah, your sister's dope. Your sister's dope. Yeah.
That's my baby sister. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, so I want to shift again, right? Let's get back. So we talked about the home decor, then we came back and we talked about things that you want to think about when you're feeding your garden. So now we're coming up on the time of the year, right, where we have a lot of new gardeners, right? Mm-hmm. We have a lot of new people who are enthusiasts, or maybe they're just curious, garden curious. They don't know if they really want to commit. And usually the things that you hear people tell brand new gardeners is start small. That's what everyone told me. Start small. Just start with an herb garden or something like that. But to me, I don't like that idea, because I find that most people don't use herbs nearly as much as they.
And herbs is not as easy to take care of as people think.
They're not, because my little brother, Malik Palmer, y'all see this? My back screen, y'all see Malik. This is not my box. Y'all know I built this no-dig garden at my brother's house. We slapped that together. He is terrible with rosemary. He has killed his rosemary 2 times now. And matter of fact, the only reason why the initial rosemary I got for his garden is still thriving is because I stole a cutting of it before I left, and I still have it alive here today. So let's speak to those enthusiasts, right? Those brand new gardeners. What's some solid advice that we can give them tonight to really make sure that this is worthwhile before they leave here this evening? What you got?
Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it. I like that one. That's a good step. First step. Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it. Like I was saying about soil, dirt. Okay. If your grass can grow in dirt, and all of a sudden you have a tree just pops out of nowhere and it's just growing in dirt. You didn't fertilize it. You didn't pay no attention. You didn't have to trim it and nurture it. None of that. It's doing fine. If you leave it there, you be like, whoa, I got a big old tree in my yard now. You didn't do anything to it. Just making sure that you have dirt water and sunlight. Don't overthink it. And
Right.
no, I would not start with an herb garden.
Right. What
Never.
would you start with? And I think I'm gonna go before you if you don't mind. I really think if you're starting out gardening and you're coming into it right now, I personally
Mhm.
think some of the first crops that you should try to grow is radishes, beets, radishes and beets. And the reason why radishes, beets, lettuce, and maybe kale, some leafy vegetables, because the radishes are very quick, fast, rewarding. All right, Paul, talk to you later. And oh, bro, Justin, what's going on, brother? I text you, man. I'm glad to see that you're alive. I was going to call you today, make sure you didn't burn up in the building. But our firefighter, you know, we got this thing. I'm gonna divert for a moment. EOD techs need heroes too. And y'all know I'm an EOD tech. That's an explosive ordnance disposal technician. That just means that I disarm bombs and IEDs and whatnot. But we say that we need
Sounds
heroes
right.
too, and our heroes are firefighters. So Justin, the Lawn Whisperer in the building, wonderful channel, cool season long like myself. Oh, you got a new phone number. Okay, all right, cool. That makes sense. That guy right there, he has a solid channel, solid lawn, and he is a civil servant doing a very dangerous job that even I wouldn't do. And you think that I'm crazy for messing with bombs? I think he's crazy for running and burning buildings. So let me.
The bomb would have got me though. The
What's
bomb, I
that?
think the bomb would have got me more than the fire.
A bomb would have got you more than the fire?
Yeah,
You
because
don't
I mean
you,
that's bloody
you don't
kaboom.
know
I
the
mean bloody
yeah, you
kaboom.
say that because you don't know the true threats of a fire. See, let me you know, and I'm sorry we're gonna get off topic for a minute, but this is why I'm explaining to you why firefighters are much cooler. They're much cooler than bomb technicians. This is why, right? If you're a bomb technician, you have the problem in front of you, right? You look at that problem in front of you, you identify the fusing, you identify the firing portion on that device, if it's an unconventional, improvised type of device, and you know what's in front of you, and you're relying on yourself to dismantle that bomb IED, and you're relying on your training. You have a whole bunch of knowns. Now, there could be some unknowns if you're in a combat zone, and you know that has a whole nother angle to it. But a burning building, check it out. How many people house you been to that keeps a whole bunch of old fish grease so they can reuse it, and they keep it in the place right above the stove, or they don't have a fire extinguisher, they got all types of crazy stuff around the house, in closets, under beds, underneath floorboards that you don't know about. That house is a series of unknowns, and you apply heat to something, you give it enough shock and friction at the same time, and kabloom, it goes blowing up. So I think it's much more heroic for you to run into a burning building with an undetermined amount of variables, right? Than dealing with a problem set that you can identify most of your hazards. So that's just my take. That's why I think firefighters are my heroes. That's why I think I think they are much more cooler than EOD techs like myself. So kudos to you. Hoarder houses are the worst. Exactly. I'd imagine like hoarder houses, those are super dangerous. But
Well,
back
that's how
on
I got this.
you said what? This
This
how
is
you
how
got
I
what?
got this.
Oh, a burn. See, I don't know if you can still see it. We're gonna shift. Oh, hold on, wait, because my thing's not mirrored. Let me see. Boom, boom. All right, right there. You guys see it? It's like a
Oh
little.
yeah, you got a skin graft?
Yes, I got a
I
skin grab.
do.
I'm gonna tell
Yes,
you a
I
fun
do.
story real quick. All right, I know we're off the gardening topic,
Yeah,
but
we all off the garden.
y'all are gonna enjoy this, right? Okay, so I was specialist Palmer. I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia. I had an Xbox. I got off work. It was Friday afternoon. I went home. I'm playing Halo. I'm having a good time. I think I was cooking something as well. I had this bright idea that I had a Yankee candle jar, right?
Oh,
The
okay.
Yankee candle jar was almost you know how the
On.
flint, it was burnt out, right? And I was like, I know what I'm gonna do. Genius. I'm going to get the candle out the jar, right? And then I'm gonna turn this into a coin jar, right? Because I had all these coins. So I was like, I'm just
You're just
turning
gonna
this
let it
into a
burn
coin
down.
jar. So I took the candle and I placed it on my little eye on the stove. right? And I wanted it just to warm up enough so I could pour the wax off and it'd be nice and clean, right? That was the intent of what I did.
Hot water next time, okay? Hot water.
Yeah. I've learned my lesson. So I put it on the stove and yeah, it did what it did. And I'm playing my video game. I forgot that I did that. The fire alarm goes off. I run to the stove.
Grab
I
it.
grabbed it. I took it to the sink. I turned the water on full blast, ice cold water. Guess what happened? Boom! It blew up. And wax landed right here, all on this arm, burnt me 10 days from Sunday. It was, yeah, it was painful. It's probably the most painful thing I've ever been through. And what really pissed me off through the whole situation, right? Excuse my language, but what really upset me in this situation, I sat in the ER for like an hour, right? And all they had to do when they called me back and made all the pain go away, they put this silver cream on my arm and the pain immediately stopped. And at that moment, I was so mad because I was like, listen, I've been out here for an hour.
Right? You could have handed me the cream.
You could have came out here and slapped some cream on my arm, people, and sent me and let me continue to sit in the waiting room. Like I've been over here at the water fountain, just running water over it. But needless to say, that led to a skin graft. I actually got it in Atlanta, Georgia, at one of the top skin graft places out there. It was supposed to be like one of the top in the country. Before we get back on track, let me say hello to a few people in the chat because they've been laughing at us, having a good time. Dino, the lawn shark, I already told you guys I really enjoy his channel. He is a warm season lawn that has a splash of cool season on his side plots. He has really dope music. I like his channel. Nothing you say will make us think what you do is easier, and for the record, you are both heroes. I like that. That's fair. Okay. GG Natural said, agreed, sir. Dude, you are a bomb tech. You are the man. Nah, Justin, you got it, man. I'm telling you, I wouldn't do your job. Everyone loves firefighters. Grace Ortiz, how you doing? I hope you had a good week. I hope you had a good holiday, Grace Ortiz. Left to my number one dude. Oh, you two, you ever drop a sink cabinet on your toe? Yeah, we cabinet guys are the real That's so funny because I know he is dead serious. If you know Left 2, you know he meant exactly what he said just now.
Had them steel toe boots on.
Right. Hey, yeah, you better put them steel toes on next time, Left 2. I dive a desk, definitely not the hero. Pitts laughed at him. Yeah, Miss Craft I did that, Miss Craft. Love you, Left Tool. Come put in my cabinets in my house when I build it. What else we got? High Long Whisperer, me. Do you want them to stay on the wall? Okay, I think we're caught up. See you on the show tomorrow. Long Garden Ben. Yeah, so if you're not tracking, I'll do one more plug and we'll get back to Beauty in the Garden. I will be a guest on someone else's show tomorrow, and it's going to be my man Ben, the Lawn Guardian. I'll be co-hosting with him on his show tomorrow at, I want to say 6 or 7. I think it's 6 or 7. Don't worry, I'll post it on my community post. We're just gonna kick back and have a good time. It'll be mostly lawn centric, but come over there and hang out with us anyway, you know. So
I learn something so I can add it to my channel. Maybe I learned something I can figure it out a little bit better.
Right.
I got my seeds and stuff, right?
Yeah, so T done picked up some seed. I was talking to someone the other day and they said, it's really cool about your channel, Turf, because everyone in the garden community calls me Turf. They said it's really cool because before I came along, they can't remember a time of gardeners actually caring about their lawn. And then my channel came, and then they had people actually taking a second look at their lawn for a second, like, hey, I think I can make this a little better within reason, right? They didn't necessarily want to achieve what I've achieved here, but needless to say, I've introduced people to a world that they were at one point not interested in at all. And on the flip side of that, you know, I have some lawn care people who have become very interested in gardening. So without you guys being here and making this possible, this community wouldn't exist. But I gotta be honest, I was super nervous when I dropped my first gardening
But you
video.
know, but gardening goes hand in hand together. It
Yeah,
goes
it
hand
does.
in hand.
And I've learned that
You know, it goes hand in hand.
through this year, and we're going to continue that process. So I've had the mic long enough. We've ranted. We've gotten way off topic. I don't want to keep the people too much longer. But I want you to give them some parting words. And let them know what's to expect on T's channel this season. Everyone's getting itchy. Everyone's ready to go. The lawn care enthusiasts are ready to go. Gardener enthusiasts are ready to go. You told people how to save money. You taught them shop off
It's gonna be a
season.
little bit more in depth. More in depth. It's just down to when to start and understanding your frost, your end dates, all of those things. I want to touch bases on. I want to touch bases on how to actually incorporate new different recipes that you probably wouldn't do with some of the food that you grow. A lot of times we still cook the same things and cook it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's a chef, so that's a way for me to show you guys another side of my life that I've grew up to learn. And my
Right.
sister actually went to school for culinary art as well.
Right.
So it's one of those things that home and garden kind of like you get to enjoy everything you do.
Right.
Enjoy your home.
Right.
This what matters.
Right.
Home.
Right.
So go out there and harvest your food and come inside and make a beautiful meal and enjoy it and change it up and decorate and enjoy what you invested.
Right.
Okay. We go to work and we'll do what the boss says do. But when we come home, we're tired. We don't want to do this. Your home come first. You want to do all those beautiful things you do there
Right.
in your home.
That's
When you
right.
go to a hotel and you see and you enjoy all those beautiful amenities, enjoy them in your home.
That's right.
Invest it in your home. So my channel is going to be touching bases on every different plant that I have and letting you know what the nutrients that you get from it, letting you know how to cook it.
Yeah.
So I have different varieties of things that I want to introduce to you guys. So if you've never seen it before, I'll let you know how to cook it,
Yeah.
how to store it, how to dehydrate it, and all the above. So I'm looking forward to this year.
Any canning? Any canning?
I water bath can.
You water bath can.
With
a water bath canner or a steam canner?
I do it the old school way.
Okay.
And if you ain't got a big pot, you got a little pot. That long as it can cover that jar,
you good to go.
Okay, you good to go. And if you worry about it boiling over, okay, get you one of them little outlets that you can get for about $5 at Dollar General something. Put it outside, put the pot, put a brick on top, and you ain't got to worry about it. Hey, little water ain't gonna do nothing to that eye. And you got you a water bath can just that fast. Little enough.
Right.
Hey, I water bath. I water bath in a regular, like what you put like your collard greens in.
Right.
That's
perfect.
4 or 5 jars in there. And hey, you don't have to go spend all that money if you don't have it. Just make sure that water covers the jar. And if you making sure to be safe too, it's just putting a towel at the bottom of the pot.
Mm-hmm.
Sit the jars on top.
Right.
You're good to go. It will seal.
You don't have to worry about it bouncing on the back.
Bouncing and blinking.
That's smart. Yeah, that's smart. Just put a towel down there.
You already got it in your house. I'm quite sure you got a big pot at your house.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the money for all the other stuff, you have a pot.
Yeah. And I can attest to what she's saying, guys. I wouldn't have a water bath canner had I not realized that about 6 years ago, I accidentally bought a water bath canner because I needed a container big enough to do a brine on my turkey. I was trying to find a pot big enough to do a turkey brine, and I'm pretty sure I bought it out of Walmart, and I literally bought it because it was the biggest pot and cheapest pot that I could find. But now I have pots that if I didn't have that water bath canner that I later discovered was a water bath canner that I had for years, I have pots that I have specifically bought for things like she's talking about, collards.
Yeah, because my grandmother, she water bath can, and she didn't even have a lid on it. She just water bath can in a foot tub. Okay, so
boom.
I
Get it
mean, so
done.
it all depends on the person and what's your preference of what you might want. But you can jar. If you can't jar, you can dehydrate. If you can't do that, you can brine it
Right.
or submerged underwater.
Right.
So I do that too. I haven't gone into depth in that. Like I said, I'm a new channel. I just want to kind of get myself into letting you guys see different things so far. So yes.
The lawn guard. Oh, Ben just subbed to your channel. Yeah, Ben's a new gardener. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. He just subbed to your channel. You'll learn a lot from her, Ben. My show is tomorrow. It's at 8:30. 8:30 Central. So 7:30 my time, right? Are we an hour ahead or an hour behind? I don't know. Somebody do that math for me real quick, please.
You'll figure it out.
It'll be later. If you don't stay up that late, it's fine. Just catch the replay. It's gonna be a good time. It'll be just as good as this, if not better. What'd you say? I'm sorry, T.
I said it should let us know.
Yeah, it'll let. I'm gonna share it. I'll share it. It's an hour ahead. Okay, cool. Hour behind. Yeah, I get what y'all are saying. Cool. What else we got?
Anybody want to ask any questions before?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Does anyone have any specific questions for Beautee in the Garden? Not necessarily me, but if you do have one, I'll answer. Unicorn lady. Yeah, stock pot. That was the word that fleeted me that I couldn't think of. Stock pot. My man, Dan, Permaculture Food Forest. Hey man, that guy, talk about not being wasteful, utilizing the plants that you have, reburying them in the soil, all these practices that we've been talking about tonight. That is a man that knows those practices very well. And if you want to learn them, I get mad every time I watch Dan's channel because he's growing stuff that I can't grow, or at least at the moment I can't grow. But I'm coming for you, Dan. Just give me a couple years. I'm coming for you, brother. I'm coming for you. You say I use my water bath canner for lots of large cooking. I'm just running through the comments until I get some questions popping up, people. Hour behind, yep. Boom, boom. Why not start with an herb garden? I just don't feel like a herb gardening is rewarding enough to continue gardening. I think when you go outside and you pick some basil and you eat it, that's cool. But when you snap a fresh piece of okra off your plant and bite into it and realize that raw okra is good, or when you harvest your first beet and then you give it a quick little steam to get the skin off and you bite into it and realize a beet tastes more like a carrot than dirt, you know what I mean? Like the earthy taste that you get at the back end of a beet that you grew yourself, it just reminds you that it's packed with irons. That's really what it does for me. So I don't think that the herb gardening is very rewarding, which will keep a person gardening. I think a lot of people start herb gardens and they do it for 1 year and they never return to it, just because it's not as rewarding as a crop like patty pan squash, lettuce, radishes, beets. I think if you need a quick, easy win, there's other ways to go about it that don't require a lot of space that will encourage you to continue gardening. That's my take. What about your take, T? Why not with the herb garden?
Herb garden, it needs a lot of drainage. It needs a lot of drainage. Okay, so if you can't manage keeping the water up still it's something that needs a lot of drainage, it will rot real fast. And a lot of times, a lot of people put herbs in such small pots, and it's not going to be beneficial because you will have to move them out. Most herbs are very invasive.
Yes.
So I just don't see the purpose of starting that first. I think probably a tomato plant, something
that's a good one too.
And why I say a tomato plant is because you can always, once that plant starts to grow, and if it's not doing it as well as you would like, you can always
Break it off.
plant something. What is it? I can't think right now. What is it called? Can't think.
Are you thinking of taking the shoots off of the suckers and
The
replanting
sucker.
them to
You can
start
always
off?
take the
Yeah, you
suckers.
can always take a sucker off and
Yeah,
restart.
and keep
Okay.
trying at it. That's one thing, because tomatoes can have so many different type of viruses, so many type of diseases, and that's a good plant to learn from. When it's yellowing, you might need a little bit of magnesium. Go ahead and get a little bit of Epsom salt. That will cure that issue. Like, you learn that plant.
Right.
And tomatoes are very a good way to learn plants.
Right.
Very good way to learn plants, because it's very easy to catch a lot of diseases and a lot of bud, the flower drops and all that stuff. You get to know why it did that.
Right.
Versus starting off with a herb. Herb just.
I completely agree. I agree. I concur completely. So Arlene Covington, she had a couple questions. She said, "Hey, Miss T, do you like or love gardening?" Part 2 of this is, "Hey, Miss T, how does it feel to be a YouTuber?" So you got
Love gardening. Love gardening.
Boom.
Love YouTube. It brought me out of my shell. I was more of a person, I like to be in my little spot, you know.
Yep.
Now I'm out there, way out there. You know, I got people from the UK, and so it's just like it's very eye-opening. It helps me want to talk to people more, express myself a little bit more, because I'm kind of closed offish. So it's like I get all my nice comments. I get excited about my comments, because I just be like, "What did you say? What did you say? Yeah. Oh, that was so sweet." Yeah. Oh, I wonder where they from. I wonder what the garden look like.
Yeah.
You know, so I do have a Facebook page and a Facebook group. So they get to like show, especially on the group, they get to show their photos and stuff like that, and I get to see it. So it's exciting to see that. So I really enjoy that. So yes, YouTube, I love it.
That's dope.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't have no regrets. I have no regrets. How about that?
No regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, okay, let me see. You will. I started with mustard greens. Danielle said Donnie, I'm gonna call you Donnie. All right, Miss Fitzgerald. I hope you don't mind. Donnie, she said, I started with mustard greens. My honey loved it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Farmer Q from Lioncrest Outdoor Gardening. He said, I mean, the dream is to prep food for a month in one day. So efficient. That's yes, for sure. I'm Life Crazy Nails. Hey, how you doing? I haven't seen that name before. Thank you for being here. I'm going to never stop. I'm so it. Just need the help and assistance. That's what I'm talking about. So help and assistance. Google it. Extension office, extension office, extension office, and you know it. I'm not going to get into that because I'm going to share that for the other live. But extension office, extension office, extension office. That should be your first step. Then YouTube, but extension office first, and I'll expand on that in a live that I'm doing on Monday. Okay, so just remind me if you're here on Monday. We'll talk about that some more. Using the palette.
YouTube is different than what people think it is. Because I think when I started YouTube, I just thought I was just going and showing my garden and how I came about it. Because my very first video, it pretty much explains like my first YouTube channel, my first YouTube video. And let me tell you something about myself. And and I was shocked when I had got the first 50. I was like, okay. I can't disappoint everybody by not coming back.
Right, I gotta come back now.
So it's very rewarding. I think it just, once you kind of like get your mind wrapped around that, you're still in your development.
Right.
You'll be fine.
Right. Lioncrest Farmer Q, he said, using the palette garden design is perfect for herbs. I don't know that design, but I'll definitely be looking it up and seeing why it's perfect, or maybe you and I can discuss it here in the near future. Knock, knock, knock. Dan, permaculture food forest. Mustard greens is a great beginner crop. Very easy to grow. There you go. Only that is affirmation to what we've been preaching to you. And mustard greens, especially if you grow the purple, Japanese, giant red mustard greens. They're extremely beautiful to look at. They do have
and nothing wants to eat them.
What's that?
Okay, nothing really wants to eat them.
And nothing really wants to eat them. And if your pit stop kitchen and garden, they don't want to eat them either because they too bitter for them. but I think part of the reason why yours were so bitter, Mr. P, and your lovely wife over there, I can't remember your name for the life of me for some reason. It just flees me at the moment that I'm about to say it, and I don't want to mess it up, so I don't say it. So please remind me what your name is. I'm so sorry. But she was saying how the mustard greens were super bitter, and I think that might have something to do with you being in Vegas and probably not experience a lot of frost. I really think that your climate has a lot. To Tina, I knew it was T. T was in the head. I was going to call her T, but I'm talking to T, so I knew it wasn't T. It was Tina. Boom. I'm sorry, Tina. But yeah, Tina, I think it has a lot to do with your climate. So yeah, nix it out the garden if you're not feeling it. Herbs can be very tricky to grow. Yeah, Dan, he agrees with that. Gardener 99, he says peppers. Yeah, I think peppers is a nice crop to grow as well. They're going to start out slow. So they're pretty forgiving on starting them sooner than you probably should, because they stay in this, like, they're almost like Kentucky bluegrass, a sprout and pout type phase. Like they sprout and then they stay in this stage where they don't look like they're doing much growth for a little while, and then out of nowhere they just take off. So peppers would be a really cool one. Plus you'll get more than one harvest off of it.
I wanted to touch bases on the mustard, and if
roll back to it. Yeah.
Sometimes it can be a zinc deficiency as well. And that's when the starch don't turn into sugar. So
Gems, baby.
That's one of those things that might be an issue as well.
Yeah.
Just
throw
it out there.
And you would know that.
Never heard of it. You never heard of it. It just to let you have an idea that zinc can be a zinc deficiency.
Right. And this is why if you're growing in the ground, and you've been hearing me preach this from last year, and you'll hear me preach it this year in my videos, is if you're a beginner gardener and you're going in the ground, start with a soil test. I'm not saying start with a soil test so you can go in and mend it with a whole bunch of chemicals. Although if you want to do that, good on you, go for it. Half the stuff we eat on a daily basis, I promise you it was not grown organically. You know that. When you go and you see, matter of fact, I was with my father a week or two ago. We were in the grocery store. He was looking at, I don't know what he was looking at, some type of spinach. He was looking at spinach. He was like, spinach? He was like, spinach, $6? I was like, it's organic. He was like, oh yeah, nah. And he walked away. So like, if you have that mentality in the grocery store that you're not about to buy organic, and you'll willfully go over here to this side to buy the non-organic stuff, shame on you for judging people that are dropping chemical fertilizers in their garden bed to get them a healthy crop. Just shame on you. That's how.
You know what? I don't touch bases on this, but I'm gonna show you something real fast. Now.
Show us, and why you're showing us what else we got while she's out there. Mixed mustards with collard greens. Yep, that's a good tip. Hey, Clausen World, my sister from another mother is in the building. Best Yet Journey, how you doing, love? Thank you for being here. Life Crazy Nails, how are you, Super Saiyan? Oh, she's talking to my wife. And then, you're back. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, you good?
Yeah.
This I use if my plant really, really needs something. And I'll break one of these up and grind it up, and I put it in a gallon of water. Mm-hmm. And this is calcium, magnesium, and zinc.
How about that? So it's like, if it's safe enough for my body, it's safe enough for my plant. Gems. How many gems have we gotten tonight? This is crazy. This has been a awesome.
Just throw it out there, you know.
Think outside the box, players. Think outside
Yes,
the
so
box.
let it dissolve in a gallon of water, or even 2 gallons of water if you don't want it to be too strong. 1 tablet, completely
That's
dissolved. Water your plant.
there you
It
go.
gives it that magnesium that gives that plant some beautiful um, growth, that zinc that helps them starches turn into sugar, and the calcium is to help that plant stay stronger and bring in that light. So this is an idea. If you're not, ever did it before, I do it ever so often. So
Right.
just
Right.
throw it.
And I want to for all my beginner gardeners, because I feel like I have to say this because I don't want you to run into this new gardening season throwing all of these gems and hacks that we've been dropping at you
Yeah,
tonight.
don't do it.
So so I want you to always start with the simplest way first. And that requires you paying attention to your plants.
Yep.
Um and I was actually just talking to my brother before I went live, and he was telling me how he had told our mother he recommended a particular grow container for her to get because it was self-watering. And
Uh-huh.
I said, I completely disagree. I think any first year gardener should not have anything that's self-watering.
You
And
gotta
he
learn.
and he was like, why not? And I was like, because you're not going to go to your garden enough to see what's going on with your plants. And if you have something that you think that you don't have to check up on and take a look at it for 10 minutes a couple times a day just to see what's going on with the plants,
Yeah.
you're going to miss the mark. And what's going to happen is one day you're going to come home from work. One day the plants look great.
Yeah.
3 days later, you think the plants are dead. But the problem is between day 1 and day 4, you didn't water it, you don't know any habits, you didn't look at to see if any pests were on it, you weren't paying attention to enough to know, is this a environmental effect that's happening to the plants, or is this something that I did or did not do that's happening to the plants? Once you remove yourself so much as an inexperienced gardener, particularly, right? Like I desire to have drip irrigation when I move to my next location. I will have that for all, especially for all my
I would
in.
never have it. I would never have it.
I will for my in ground. I'm going to have it, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to have it because I hate the process of watering. I love being in my garden. I just want to go out there, look at stuff, check out stuff,
But we
prune
just
some
talked
stuff,
about this. We
clip some.
just talked about this. One plant might be doing better than the
That's
next.
true. I'll go out. So for me, I can only speak for myself. If
Mm-hmm.
I have removed one less, and you got to remember, I still have a lifestyle that I have to maintain with Uncle Sam, right? So for me, not having to worry and stress about watering, or when I have to go on a mission, I'm not laying that burden on my wife, because she's a nurse, she has her own career and her own goals and whatnot. I don't want to drop that on her. Although this is a joint ambition, I don't want to leave her with that type of responsibility and feeling like she has to sacrifice certain things to take
Water.
care of our garden, because watering takes a while. The more space you have, I love checking on my plants, I love being with my plants. I don't like watering my plants because I find that I usually rush when I'm watering my plants, because I just want to get it over with real quick. I just like looking at them, looking to see what's going on. And every gardener is different. But if I could minimize the watering process and watch them and treat each plant individually, I feel like I'm pretty good at balancing that. And I see a lot of people in the chat, y'all like watering, and that's cool. That's great. Each gardener has their own technique for sure.
Yeah, because I don't water often.
Yeah, you
I
don't,
don't water.
because most of your
No.
stuff. Well, for one, it rains like a mug in North Carolina. Man, every time I've been to North
No,
Carolina
you know
this
what?
year,
This winter it has rained tremendously. summer and spring wasn't too bad, but this winter has been terrible. It's been terrible.
Yeah.
It's rained almost every day here. But I would say this much, because I use a lot of leaf mulch and a lot of when I first start my beds, it has the peat moss. It gives that, so hold that moisture. So I don't really have to go in and do a lot of watering.
Okay.
But that's another thing too that you have to look into. Like I said, when I look at certain plants, I will only water the ones that needs it. Um, that looks like it might need some love and care. And I don't go around just water everything. No, very
Oh,
seldom.
that's who you are. I'm sorry. I just realized Life Crazy
Uh-oh.
Nails is Life's Blooms on IG. I've been helping her out. She's a brand new gardener. Welcome. Thanks for popping over
That's
here.
good.
Um,
Family.
right. Yeah, she's a brand new gardener. And she said, Turf, thank you for the help over there. And Miss Ross, that you for them Dollar Tree views. Okay, cool. Great live, guys. LL did that too. Got tired of crushing eggshells. Yeah. You don't you could just bury them. They'll, it takes a little longer, but you can just bury them. Clausen says, in my garden, my drip irrigation isn't a set it and forget it. I still check my garden because it can go wrong. Exactly. Yeah. And actually you had one of your drips go wrong on you and you caught it because you was out there actively checking your garden. So that was just one little thing that I could remove that's time consuming, because you need to take your time when you're doing it. Because when I did do it, when I was rushing
I
in the
think if I had
beginning,
a bigger garden, maybe I would do it. If I had like a really big garden, I
right,
don't have a really big garden.
right.
My garden is so small. It looks big on camera, I think. I,
Yeah, it
I
does. It does.
I have a very small garden. I think I just have so many different things in the beds that it might look big, but I don't. Small. My beds are like literally a foot wide, and they're long. They're up against my fence line. So,
Right.
and then the ones that's in the main garden, that first box is like 2 feet wide, 3 feet long.
Okay.
So, you know, it's just I can pack a certain amount. Like I said, I aerate, I cut, I love a scissor.
Sure
I
you
chew
got that
my,
airflow in there.
yeah. So
Chop it down if you need to. I
you
get it.
only want, especially like that same 2 by 3 bed. That's what had all those eggplants in it.
Right.
I had 12 eggplants in that. I had a ton of eggplants. I got over it. I just wanted to die.
So I am growing eggplants this year to finish proving to myself that I don't care for eggplants. I'm just like, because I didn't really care for beets before I started gardening. I literally just consumed beets because I knew they were good for you. And my wife, she's always cold because she's anemic,
I
and
make beet
I was just like,
powder.
take this beets, right? But I grew beets, I ate them, and I realized I loved them, right? So we grew radishes, we ate them, we realized we loved them. So I'm gonna grow eggplants, and then I'm going to see if I really don't like eggplants, because another weird thing, like rosemary. I
Uh-huh.
love rosemary. I loved rosemary my entire life. I could not make steak without rosemary. But rosemary and I like went together like uh a laxative. Without giving you
Oh
too many
no.
details, like it was a diuretic for me.
Oh
But
no.
I couldn't stop. I,
Eating it.
I I wouldn't stay away from it though. I would, just have it sparingly. I grow rosemary now.
Hmm.
I cook with it. Not an issue. I haven't had an issue since I've
Oh,
been growing my own rosemary. So I don't know if it was the variety of rosemary in the store that I wasn't getting along with it. Could it have been some of uh the all natural pesticides, herbicides they were spraying? Who knows, right? But I know that my stomach did not agree with rosemary, even though I loved the flavor, until I started growing it. And now I will never buy rosemary from the store. I just won't.
I
I
think
just
I have a
won't.
rosemary plant now.
They
Like
said,
10
what do you do with the beet
either.
powder?
I put it in my smoothies. It's so good. Um, you can even like make like a little jam with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's
I made a beet relish. I didn't show you guys that because who knows, I was busy, but did I do it out of, I got this book here.
It's a big book.
The Complete Guide to Pressure Canning. No, it wasn't in this book. It was in, if you have the ball canning book, the recipe that I stole was out the ball canning book for beets, but instead of using horseradish, right, I used ginger.
Oh,
And
you
it
still
was
get that kick.
so
Give you that kick still.
it was so good, man. That beet
Believe it or not, Turf, this will be my first year. You guys, this will be my first year. Actually, I feel like I'm gonna get ginger. I finally got the ginger to put on some buds.
Oh,
I've done it the way I keep seeing everyone do it, because like I said, I didn't have no experience with ginger. And Eric used to say, put it in water, cut it and put it in water. I just threw it in the pot with some dirt and buds.
And it worked?
It worked.
Oh, okay. So I have some ginger on the counter. That's the video I'll be recording tomorrow, right? I got a whole bunch of videos I'm about to start recording, and you'll see them coming out over the next couple of weeks. So we'll be back on our regularly programmed schedule here in the very near future. But I had these old I had this ginger, and it started sprouting on me. So I took each one, I kind of treated it like a seed potato. You know, every time you get an eye on the seed potato, you can cut out that piece, give a nice little chunk, take a chunk of that potato with it. You let it dry out a little bit, and then you can plant that, and that's its own seed in itself. So I kind of treated the ginger the same way. So each end that had like a sprout that was showing signs of life, I snapped it. Oh, you're showing it to us. I snapped it. Ooh, look at that. Yeah. So I snapped each piece like that, and then I let it dry. And now I'm going to take it and put it in peekaboo cups and then see if I can get them to do something. If not, oh well, if they do, cool, because it was going to go in the trash or to my worms. So,
I have to make ginger. I have to grow this ginger. My husband loves ginger, loves it. And I was determined
to get that ginger going.
So, I was just watching, oh God, what was it? It was one like a throwback, like really like throwback, like maybe 1982 video, literally. I'm serious. And it was just as foggy as I don't know what, but it just shows you this. That's all you have to do. And I was just like, and keep the soil moist because they like lots of moisture. But I was trying to do it the way they, I see it now, was putting it in water and, getting it to grow that way. And I'm like, every time I did it, it mushed and rotted.
Right.
So I'm going to have ginger this year, you guys.
Yeah, we're going to have ginger this year. All in the soil. Hey, how you doing all in the soil? I usually see you. Where did I usually see you? I usually see you pretty much everywhere I go. So, but hey, thank you for popping in. She says, Beautee in the Garden, or he, I'm not sure if you're he or she, to be honest. I'm sorry. Beautee in the Garden. You inspire my family and me. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Channel 4. Yes, as I have my ginger and I found some turmeric. Nice. That's what I'm talking about. Miss Kratz gave you some hand claps on your.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then Sin B, that was ginger. That's what that was.
Yes, that was ginger.
Ellen Pankey, will ginger grow if it has been in the fridge? I have a pound of it. I believe so. You probably.
I believe it will. I think it has to be acclimated anyways. Right. So yeah, I think it will, because it's refrigerated when we buy it out the grocery store.
Right. Hey, BB says, how much should I cut and put in the ground? No buds on it.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Just drop the whole thing in there, BB.
The whole thing.
Hope for the best. And if somebody else has something that they can add to that.
A whole piece.
Right. Follow up with it.
It's the whole
Yeah.
piece.
Hey, Quietly Gardening, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while.
That's the whole
Thanks
piece.
for being here. Yeah, it's the whole piece right there. She took the whole piece. Now, the only reason why I snapped mine into pieces is because I already had little sprouts. Let me just go get it for y'all real quick. You keep them entertained,
What
T?
I've sure.
Yeah.
What I've learned from watching this old video was that once this bud turns, you don't need this part of the ginger anymore. It's going to separate itself where you can have enough root to take the whole entire bud off. So you can just basically just go ahead and plant that bud into the ground once it starts to have root and leaf growth. So these are the little buds here. You guys can see here and here. Like this one already starting to get roots. Can you see it right there? And you just pop that whole piece off and you'll be able to plant that whole plant and put this back in the ground actually. So what they were saying was, even though you only right now have a couple of buds on your ginger, there's other dormant buds that will actually start to come alive if you keep this in the ground. So once this bud turns, you pop that off with the plant and you plant that and you keep the original ginger in the ground. So this came from an old video by, I'm serious, like 1982. So it works. It works perfectly. And I had the most horrific time trying. I mean, it's done mush, smell like God knows what. And this time I have no issues. No issues.
Right. So what I just realized while she was talking, and it kind of triggered something for me, kind of like potatoes, much like dahlias. Remember when I did my dahlias videos and I showed y'all how to separate them? So these are my ginger, and when I snap these, and I just realized this today, when I snap these into pieces, each one of them only had one sprout on it, right? So for instance, this piece right here, right? Let me see if I can
put one on there too.
put that, like, I got a sprout here, right? But now when I look, I have another sprout. I don't know if y'all can see, you probably can't see that because the lighting's just off, but there's another little sprout coming in right here in the corner. So what I did is I snapped them, and you can see that I let them dry, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like cure, kind of like what you would do with a potato.
Yeah, because let me cut you off, but yeah, that's another thing too. If you do snap it, they said to cover it with ash. Cover it with ash.
Right. I didn't do that. I just left it on the counter. We're going to see if it works because I'm going
It
to
looks
drop
like
these.
it's going great.
Right. I'm going to drop these in some peekaboo containers, guys. But I have about 6 pieces of these that I snap. And the reason why I snapped them is because I'm container gardening, and everything's container gardening, and I didn't know what would work. And I don't have enough room for all of them. So I figured I'd get some going, and then I would just plant them as I, knew that they were viable, and give the other ones away as gifts, or even give them away here on the channel when I do a flash giveaway here in the future.
Well, mine's going in containers too, Turf. Mine is going to go in bus pans. So
you got more space than me, so I don't want to hear. You got more space.
I'm going mine in a bus pan because it grows outwards. So it doesn't grow deep. It just grows on the top surface.
Yeah, so I'll be putting mine in those concrete mixers. That's where mine are.
Oh, it's about the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's about the same thing. So to her point, I understand. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, of course, if you know Lead Farmer, you know Lady Lead. I saw Lady Lead do it in her containers, and it turned out just fine. So that's the route I'll be going with mine. So
I just don't want to use up my bed for it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I need my little beds for other stuff.
Yeah, Miss Craft said, see, you can hold alive. T, yeah, you can hold alive. Clausen said, my kitchen must have been hot last year because my ginger and turmeric sprouted in the kitchen. I know if it was up to my wife, this whole house would be hot nonstop and everything would be sprouted. Yankee sister, hey, how you doing? It's been a while since I've seen you as well. Glad to have you in here. Kwamzi Hudson, hey, how you doing? Thank you for being in here. You like gladiola bulbs? Yes, like gladiola bulbs as well. That's true.
So it's like a big rhizome anyways.
Yeah, it's a rhizome. That's exactly what it is. It's a rhizome.
Mhm.
Make sure I didn't miss anything. Cool. All right.
Which is crazy because I grow my purple queens. All the purple queens that I have in this yard came from one plant.
Wow.
And I have like 40 of them now.
Whoa.
And each joint grows a new flower. If you cut it and put it in soil, it'll grow another one.
How about
So,
that?
and I never thought about it when I was doing the ginger in the water.
Yeah, yeah. Nice AZ Lawn. What's going on, brother? Listen,
Making it difficult for myself.
Right. Yeah,
So,
yeah, we're making it difficult.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was making more technical than it needed to be. So I could have probably been grew ginger, but I was trying to follow it by the book. That's
yeah. Hey, Love Notes. I don't know if I spoke to you or not. But hey, thank you for being in here, Love Notes. Nice AZ Lawn. I want to give this plug real quick. Nice AZ Lawn. Nice AZ Lawn is one of the few people, him and I believe Don's Lawns, I've seen do this. I think Don's Lawns actually had 2 different grass types, but AZ Lawns, and actually Beautee in the Garden, you need to follow AZ Lawns because what you're planning on doing is very similar to what he does consistently in the Arizona area. But he has 2 different grass types in his lawn. He lives in Arizona. He has a warm season grass, right, which is Bermuda, and then his cool season grass is perennial rye.
Okay.
And he transitions them as the season changes. But here's the kicker. This is where all you gardeners are going to love how he transitions, because usually when you see people transition these 2 grass types on YouTube, they're using a lot of chemical to make it happen. Not this guy. He does it all natural. He does it with cultural practices. Cultural practices is how he gets it done. So please go subscribe to my guy over there. And he has these beautiful Greek, I think they're Greek cypresses or something like that. They make a very very beautiful natural fence line. They're super tall trees, very low maintenance, and they grow in this very upward function.
I have Italian cypress in my back fence.
Maybe it's called an Italian cypress.
That's what I have.
Nice AD. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just drop the name of those things that you got in there on the back line of your fence line. Let these people know what you got. Italian cypress. Boom. That's what it is.
That's what I have. Italian cypress. They grow straight up. I did that so I can elevate the landscape, because when you live in a subdivision, they cut down everything. So I wanted elevation to separate the vibe of living in a subdivision, and you need height. But you don't want clutter. You want height, but you don't want clutter. So I decided that on the fence line, and in between those, I have climbing roses.
Nice. I like it. Look at you. Yeah. So AZ Lawn, he does a lot of stuff, and he loves his flowers as well. He loves he respects his pollinators. So from a gardening aspect, you'll really dig his content. I just like the way he records, puts things together, and he is a civil servant. I believe he's a nurse. So he's been out there on the front lines throughout all of this stuff that we've been struggling with, the pandemic throughout the entire world right now. So hand clap to you. Salute to you for being out there on the front lines while you're doing your thing, brother. But yeah, so do we have any more questions? We got any more questions? We covered way more.
On what they want to know about starts, or when they're going to start, or
so for me, if you were in zone 7A, I can tell you right now, the first thing we're starting in February is onions. That's where we're starting. That's what I want you to start with me. I will be starting my onions a week early, so you can, so when I drop the video, it gives you a good idea of what your onions should look like a week later from you dropping your seeds with me. So I'm going to try to do that with the majority of the crops that I know people usually struggle with, or crops that people are very interested in. We'll be doing that as we move forward this season. So if you're in zone 7A, unless it's flowers, like I got my sugar cane going already, and a few perennials and annuals going already, because some of those take a little bit longer to get going. But for the most part, you shouldn't be starting too many vegetables right now, unless you have the room.
Believe it or not, you can start a lot.
Unless you have room. let me finish. Unless you have room
So you can
to
start
keep
a
them
lot.
to keep them happy
Start a
before you
lot.
take them outside. Because
Yeah, you have to
7A,
start them
if
indoors.
you're in 7A,
You have to
you
start.
we have the threat of frost unless they are cold hardy plants. Because like you can get some collards going in February if you want to, for sure, if you got the
Anything
room for them.
brassica family, you can
Anything
start.
in the Nebraska family can take that for sure. But I won't be doing that because I'm not that experienced. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Most of the things I will be starting kind of early, and there's some tricks I'm doing by leaving plants out that are out there doing well. Like the collards I have out there, 2 of those plants are almost a year old. In about 2 months, they'll be a year old, and they've been out there producing for me for a year. My kale that's out there right now, that's been producing for me for an
I messed
entire
up.
year.
How about that? You want to know that? I messed up.
What would you mess up on?
um, I normally plant my kale in pots because I move them.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I decided to put them in my totes, and I'm gonna have to dig them up come maybe
June,
March. March.
March. Oh, you gotta get them out in March.
I
Wow.
need to get them out because
It's gonna be too
my
hot.
sweet potatoes are going there. So
Oh, okay.
um I normally take them out too because I use my gazebo and I put my screen up, and then I have to worry about the cabbage looper, and I put them under the gazebo in shade so that they won't bolt. So I did put them in those containers, and beautiful scarlet kales you see have to come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and if you live in a hot area, don't do it. Just kind of put them in a pot so you can move them into the shade so you can have them longer. I had my kale almost in a year. So that's one thing that I did mess up there though.
Right. Right. Donnie, she said, what are y'all starting right now? I'm in 8A Pacific Northwest. 8A, you can get all your brassicas going.
All
Anything
of them.
in the cool season crops, you should drop all them seeds right now. Matter of fact,
And
you can direct sow some carrots, you can direct sow radishes, beets. You can get all that stuff going right now if you want to.
and try to just as far as like understanding like with the brassica, try to get the early varieties, the one that's going to go out within that 45 to 60-day window. So by the time your actual time to plant your spring and summer crops, those plants will be ready to come out.
Boom.
But for me, I started, I don't need any because I have so many cabbages and stuff going on now. But like leeks, anything in the allium family, you can start rosemary.
Right.
You can start your
Rosemary.
bell peppers, all your peppers. You can start
Peppers,
peppers.
yes. Yes, get on those tomatoes. You should be able to get your tomatoes going right now too.
What's wrong? Yeah. So anything, look for your frost date, like your average frost date, and then count those weeks in. And normally those things are between 10 to 12 weeks is what you will want to plant in January and February.
Right.
So
Kwamzia Hudson says, what herbs should I start now?
you could do
What zone are you in? Let's start with that. You know, I mean, we can give you things that you can start for our zones right now, but Kwamzia, I'm not
other
sure
herbs.
what. And the only reason why we need to know, why I want to know your zone, because T has a little different take on it, is I would like to know what have an idea of when your frost date is coming, because that's the most important thing. It kind of gives you an idea when your last frost is coming for the spring. That's all. 7A, you're in my zone.
Yeah.
You can start. I would definitely get your rosemary going.
Dill,
Is lavender a herb? Is it?
lavender as well.
Yeah, you
Lavender
definitely
as
want to get
well.
your lavender
And
going.
you
Dill will do well in this spring.
it has to be done this time. It has to
Yeah,
be acclimated. It has to be cold
you got to
so
put
it
it
can
through
grow.
so this is how I got my lavender to sprout. First time ever trying to get
In
lavender to
the
sprout.
fridge.
I took the seeds. I took a paper towel. I wet the paper towel in the sink, right? Just normal paper towel. I squeezed the paper towel with all the excess water. I took my seeds. I sprinkled them in the paper towel. I closed the paper towel. I put it in the sandwich bag. I put it where I put my butter at. I left it in the fridge for 14 days. I took it out the fridge. I put it on type of a nice fluffy peat moss perlite blend. I sprinkled a little on top. Make sure I kept them moist. Within 7 days, all of them sprouted. because they have to go through a cold stratification process. They need to think that they went through a winter to come up, kind of like garlic.
You have your seeds.
Garlic can come up without cold, but you're not going to get as big of a bulb if you do.
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to put it in the fridge or cool it, keep it really cool. It has to go through that process. So by it sitting in that package, the dormancy is just going to stay dormant, so it won't sprout.
So Kwamzia, you're in 7A Tennessee. Definitely go check out Miss Craft. She's in 7B, which gives you a head jump because whatever she's doing, you'll be right behind her, and you're with me as well. But depending on where you're in Tennessee, you might have a microclimate that's dramatically better, different from me. So that's definitely a channel you want to check in on, Miss Craft. You're in the right place. Rhonda Mofit. Hey, how you doing, Rhonda? 8B herbs. So that's you. I don't know. I'm not 8B. So what you got for 8B?
8A, 8B can start pretty much all of what we just said. All of what we just said. And flowers as well. You believe it or not, you can start a good bit of flowers as well, like the cone flower and can't think the black-eyed Susans and the ornamental cabbages. All those things you can start those now. I wouldn't do any kind of vinded flowers or anything like that, but yeah, herbs, definitely herbs.
Yes, indeed. Yes, MB. If you did not put your lavender through a cold stratification process, they're most likely not going to. They're not going to sprout. So if you want to see that, I could probably. I'll start some more. Thanks for your hard work down there, Eco. I appreciate you. I see you putting in them. You putting in them hours, brother. I appreciate you dropping those links left and right. But yeah, I'll probably do a short video on it because the lavender that I started late fall is made it through the winter, so I really don't need any more, but I'll start some and maybe I'll give them away on the channel because I need to practice on shipping things anyway. So I'll give some giveaways away and practice some techniques on shipping and see if they make it safely. So
once you got it's a perennial unless you don't want it no more.
Right, exactly. Another thing that's a perennial that I didn't realize until after I ripped it out was I think either thyme or oregano, or it might be both of them.
Oh, all herbs are pretty much perennial.
Basil reseeds itself.
It reseeds itself.
Yeah, basil reseeds itself. Thank you, Eco. My garlic is doing excellent. It's on its 4th layer. That's what I'm talking about, Kwamzia. Yeah, every
now is the best time to get all that nitrogen into that bulb, get that leaf growth, because those leaves, every leaf that you have is going to turn into that clove. So get that them leaves growing, and then once we hit spring, stop. Just stop. Don't feed it no more. Because you want the bulb.
Yeah.
You want the bulb. Just stop.
Yeah, and it's smart that that those leaves indicate a layer. Same with onions. As you get leaves that come off the top of your bulbing onions, it's supposed to indicate the amount of layers of onion you'll be developing. Cindy Davis, I will do that video. I will start shooting that video tomorrow. I'll start that process tomorrow just for you. You're going to have to give it about 3 weeks before I release it, but go ahead and follow my steps that I just told you to do, and you'll see my results along with it. Hey, Led, how you doing, brother? Thanks for popping in.
Hi, Led.
Yeah, that's why. That's Gigi. That's exactly why your lavender does nothing. Unicorn Lady Tech, tulips and daffodils in AA. I'm sorry to tell you, sweetheart, but you have missed your window for tulips and daffodils. They have to go through a certain amount of chill hours. In 8A, you should have had those tulips and daffodils in the ground about 2.5, maybe even 3 months ago. So go ahead and get some in the off season, right? Like we was talking about earlier, save you some coins, and just be prepared to plan a little better next year. But you can go to the stores and buy them where they've already started out. I see them selling them that way. They're going to be more expensive.
Come Mother's Day, that's the time to get it. Once Mother's Day's over, plant those and you're good to go. That's one good way to save money on those bulbs. And it's springtime is so expensive to try to get them at the peak. You want to get them when they're Mother's Day sales.
Right. Right.
That's what you want.
Right.
They'll come back and do all they'll look ugly, but next year,
But next year,
next year,
that's gonna be your year. You
that's
got them for the
gonna be
low
your
though.
year.
You got them for the low.
Yeah, that's gonna
Uh,
be your year. And
yeah.
we were talking about the onions, making sure you want the phosphorus, okay?
That's right.
Okay,
That's the root.
that's the numero uno with your alliums. You want that because that encourages that root growth, and
Yes.
that's what's going to give you that bug. So
Yes.
I did have somebody ask me, can they plant their onions now? If you just want to harvest it for a green onion, yes, but bulb time, you won't get those bulbs.
Depends,
It
right?
all
So
depends.
so if you're in 7A with
Yeah,
me,
it all
and
depends.
you can do long day onions like me, if you go back into my catalog,
Mm-hmm.
I can do some onions. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I did some onions.
That's
So
why I use bone meal.
right. So I'm starting my onions from seed in about a week and a half. And I guarantee you, if you do what I do, when I do it, how I do it, you will have at least one onion.
That's on my list right there. I already got my
One
week.
onion. Now you have to understand is your based off where you at on the map in your climate, whether or not you should be doing long day onions or short day onions.
Onions.
You'll
And
see me doing long
you.
day onions.
Yeah, it will actually tell you.
Yes.
It's broken up into 3 different pies, so it will definitely tell you which particular onion will do good, and it all has to do with the sugar content as well. That what holds the plant, that holds that bulb from rotting out during the season change. So
Right.
that's just look up onions, what to plant, in state. If you don't know your zone,
Yeah.
wherever it highlights, that's where you're at.
And I think the biggest thing I want to give you guys, I would say what's your zone, with your zone, the most important thing when you're using the USDA Cold Hardy map, the most important thing is understanding when your frost dates for spring and fall, right? Other than that, you don't really need to know anything other than that, as far as unless you're dealing with a whole bunch of fruit trees that need chill hours, but that's a little advanced. We'll keep it basic. I'd say the most important thing you actually need to understand before you start dropping seeds is that there are 2 different types of crops. You have cool season crops and you have warm season crops. I stumbled into the garden world not understanding. Too many times have I seen throughout this season people trying to start okra in the middle of August, and they live in zone 7B. Your okra, they'll live. I showed you that they will stay alive, but they're not going to produce the way that you want them to produce.
You won't get much.
So understanding that there's cool season crops, warm season crops, in addition to your understanding your frost dates, is probably that's going to be enough to make you dangerous. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to be enough.
I think that's the big thing, is understanding your first frost and your last frost.
That's right.
Because those 2 things, and even down to zones, that's we touched bases on that on when we were talking before. Zones just tell you an idea, but you can live in the same zone, and one person live in the mountain, one person living in flatland, one person live next to a lake, one person live next to the ocean. Those are different climates. It just gives you an idea, okay?
Right. Yep.
It doesn't make it sound like, oh, yes, plant it because I'm in that zone. You need to understand the humidity in your area as well.
To her point, there was a young lady earlier, or maybe it was a young man. I apologize if I messed that up, but they said that they were in 7A Pacific Northwest, right? That is nowhere level with Maryland. And I'm in the 7A in Maryland. Matter of fact, in Maryland, I believe, and if anyone from my Master Gardener class is watching, if I get this wrong, don't judge me. I believe in Maryland, we have 5 different zones, which is crazy, right? To be in one state to have that many zones. So do okra need frost? No, they don't want frost.
No
They do not want frost. What if you have this? What if you have just have a, what if you have just to have a pack of onions? Do you mean a pack of onion seeds, or do you mean the onion starts, the bulb starts? Clarify that for me, please. and I'd be able to better answer it. What about passion fruit from seed? Now I'm gonna tell you this, Yvonne McFadden. There's only a handful of things that I know as far as fruit trees that you can grow from seed and be successful. One of those things being a pomegranate, and I actually can't think of another one at the moment. I don't know if passion fruit or one of those things. If Dan Permaculture Food Farm is still in the heart, is if he's still in the house, he might be able to answer it for you. Lead, he might actually have something for you. Beauty, do you have something for you? Do you know whether or not can you do that?
No.
See?
I'm that I that's how I end up finding lead. I actually found Led's channel when I first started my YouTube channel in January is when I found Led's channel. My mom told me about it. Was like, why don't you watch this? I said, because I really want to go ahead and get some fruit trees. And I said, well, I've always been trying to grow them from seed. And I've always had success growing it from seed, but I never ever got any fruit. Even I had a fig tree for like maybe 5 years, and I never got any fruit. And I just kept trying to do research. And I said, you know what? So one day my mom was like, we were sitting at on a chair, and I was at her house. Yeah. And she was like, oh, watch this, and watch that. And that's how I ended up finding Led's channel.
Boom. There you go. So yeah, I'm not sure about growing most fruits you don't want to do from seed because you are in for the long haul. You don't know if you'll ever get fruit while you're alive. And even if you do get fruit, you don't know if that fruit is going to be true to the mother plant. Meaning, yeah, you might grow that passion fruit from seed, or like T was just saying, she was doing them figs from seed. She could have waited 8 years, finally got fruit, and turns out they taste like doo-doo. You know, so you just put 6 years into something that tastes like trash.
No, the fig tree I actually bought the fig tree.
Okay.
Is what I've grown from seed.
Gotcha.
I've had success planting fruit trees, but I have wanted to expand what I had. And we had a bad hurricane that came through and pretty much drowned out everything that I had. I don't know if you remember this. What was it? What was the storm that came through here? It was really bad. We had a flood. I-40 was flooded. That's like no more than a hot 30 minutes from my home. So we had water into our home. So yeah.
Wow.
So it's one of those things. So, and my plants the water was stagnant, and it just killed all of those. And I have to start all over. So I try to do it from the seed. So I didn't have to spend the money again. But hey.
Yeah. Thanks, Ms. Craft, for elaborating on that. Okra is a warm season plant. It loves the heat.
65-degree temperatures.
Yeah, it loves the heat. Eggplant, warm season plant. It likes that heat. Very true. My zone 9 is totally different from the 9A in Florida. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because you humid and dry out there in Vegas. I mean, you dry as heck out there in Vegas, and then Florida, it's plenty of humidity.
It's plenty of humidity. It rains. I think it rains every morning in Florida. It seems like a drizzle one.
Right. Farmer Q, you said pawpaw. Are you saying can you do pawpaw from seed? I'm not sure, brother. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. Hello, Turf Therapy and Beauty in the Garden. Love ladies, gardening projects, and more. Welcome to the building. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Whole new perspective, Francis. Maybe I'm reading somebody else's mail right now. Are you telling me you're Francis? I have family members in my family named Francis. Are you trying to give me a hint that you one of my cousins or something? Best yet journey, love lady. Okay, reading other people's mail. Miss Craft, so true. Not only know your temp range, you need to know the number of days in those temp range. Yes, and you could use something like a growing degree calculator that gives you that big farmers use when they're getting their hands on these GMO seeds, and it kind of calculates how many days you have to see how many growing days you have for particular different varieties of not only vegetables and fruit trees and whatnot, but grass. That's usually what it's used for, people that have or that are big into the turf industry.
I think too, like I think we overthink too, like when it comes down to starting our seeds as well, the temperature thing and all of that. It's kind of like the seeds that take a long time to produce its fruit. Like if you want to do Brussels sprouts, it's a long days, like 120 days. Even
Wow.
after the leeks and the onion, it's a long process. So you can start it. I prefer just to buy mine. Um, I just prefer to go and wait till the season comes up and buy it, because if it is not meant for it to grow at that season, they won't be in stores. They'll take it down anyway. So
Right. That was a nice little cheat code I was given last year when people were asking me, what can I start now? When they were trying to enter gardening in the middle of the season. I said, I'm not sure where you live, but if you go to your local nursery or big box store, whatever plants they got out, you can more than likely grow it. Because they're not going to be selling, they don't want to sell you things that aren't going to do well in your area. They want you to come back and buy more stuff. Now, on the flip side of that, when you're towards the end of your season, like when we established my brother's garden, it was towards the end of his season for tomatoes. But when you went to the store, there were tomatoes there. But one thing that you saw was that those tomatoes were huge. They've been there for a while. You could tell that they were way bigger than they originally expected them to be before they sold them. So I told him not even to waste his time with them and just, worry about the cool season crops. And that's the direction we went into for him to get a jump on that.
Yeah,
so
they would have probably removed it anyways, and probably within the week anyways. They probably would have went ahead and disposed of them eventually. The company calls them back in as soon as that cutoff date is done.
Right.
That's, and the only reason why I know this is because I talk to the vendors. When I go to the store, I go to the store pretty often when it comes down to plants, and they'll tell you the roster of the cutoff. Like, there's no need, because you can get refunded if a plant dies. So this is a cutoff. This is the cutoff, because it's not going to do you any justice. So you don't have a greenhouse or something like that where you can keep them undercover or something like that. It's just gonna die.
Right. Kwamzia Hudson, she says, what are we growing or starting now? So I got a few house plants that I've been keeping alive. And then I got my Meyer lemon that's still in here that I've been overwintering because it gets too cold to leave it outside. As far as anything that I've started, I got my moringa sprouted. If you guys want to see that, I'll go grab it real quick. But my dwarf moringas, I got those going. I have started those. You guys know I'm doing hydroponics. I'll be giving you an update on that here in the near future. And then I've got my sugar cane going as well. And then I got angel trumpet that Led was so kind to send me that I have going as well. But the only big thing that I'm really about to start is my onions. Now we're in different zones, so Beautee in the Garden has more going on than I do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab the moringas so y'all can see what that looks like real quick.
So like, as far as like the starts, you guys, I can't see y'all questions or anything like that. But as far as starts, like I said, look up from your frost date on, or the state that you're in, and they're going to give you a list of plants, vegetables that you can plant in your zone or in your area. Okay, even from state to state, even in counties, they will tell you what grows in your county. So you can even find that information out as well, instead of having to go through so many different type of loops to figure out what to grow. Because you can actually, they will pinpoint in your area what can grow in your county.
Extension office. If you type in your county, put your county, type extension office, and then type grow calendar. And you're going to find the grow calendar for your county. I gave that to two people that are here in the live tonight. I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. Let me go find it. I can't remember what your Instagram name is, but Life's Love, something like that. I sent her Life's Crazy Nails. Boom. I sent her the grow calendar for our zone because I stumbled across her on Instagram. I think she actually came to my channel and liked a few things, and I went and I checked it out and I saw she was in the same zone. So I sent her our grow calendar so she could have that. And then Cam Cam from Elevated Lawnscapes, I sent him a grow calendar. I've been working with him. He's going to start a garden this year, so you'll see it. Now, this is, let me switch it back up. This is my moringas, my dwarf moringas. Now I had 4 in here, and all 4 of them would have germinated, but I went to dig this one out, and I was watching Aunt Linda, right, the New Orleans gardener, and I heard her say, take the seed out the shell, that you'll have better results. Now I followed the package on my I followed the package instructions on the dwarf moringa seeds that I got, and I soaked them for 2 days in water, and then I planted them. So the first one I dug out, it hadn't sprouted anything yet, right? And then I tried to take the shell off, but it was so soft that the whole seed just split in half. So I lost that one. And then I dug this one out, this one right here, and I saw that it already sprouted. It had a root coming out of it. So I was like, stop. I put it back in and I aborted. Now, what I did was I soaked them for 2 to 3 days. Then I planted them in this nice little mix of peat moss and I think I put a little bit of vermiculite and then equal part of perlite to the peat moss. And then I took this bag that I got from the Dollar Tree, right? This real big bag right here. And then I watered this. I got it nice and soaking. I got it sitting in this little reservoir right here. This is like an old to-go container from probably some Thai restaurant or something. And then I just put it in that bag and I created, this whole little recycle system. And I left it in there underneath my grow light until they sprouted. And today I came home. Today is when I realized they came up. So I got 3 dwarf moringas here. I only plan to keep one. One of them is going to my little brother. And then the other one has Broke Farmer's name on it. I'm going to go ahead and start another round. Since I've done this successfully, I'm going to show you how I have done it successfully. And I'll make a video on that for you guys to see as well. But these are my moringas right here, dwarf moringas. And I got dwarf because I'm a container gardener. Now I do have a full-size moringa straight from New Orleans, from the New Orleans gardener, but I'm saving that until I move because I want to put that tree in the ground. I really do. So I'm saving that until later, but that's my dwarf moringa. So yeah, I did that.
I was thinking about growing moringas just so I can make the powder.
Do it.
Health kick.
Yeah, do it. It's not that hard. I did it. So, and then they're very forgiving once you get them going. From what I see, they like to be hacked down like it's nothing. So Lead Farmer said, that is amazing, Beautee. Your mom told you to check me out. Tell your mom I said hello. And then you got to laugh and he threw you a heart.
Thank you. I'll tell her.
Yeah, Apartment Gardener. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for being here. The rhizome I sent you still surviving. It's dormant. It's not doing much, but she's still alive. She's back there in the cut behind the green screen over here. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about the hurricane that came through NC. I think it was Florence. Oh, okay. You were talking about the hurricane names. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Get a number on good old Jacksonville.
Yeah. Yes, please. So I can do it with you. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it again. I'll start some more seeds tomorrow. Y'all done put me to work tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm off. I'm off tomorrow. So, I'm gonna be shooting about 3 videos and apparently starting lavender in another round of moringa seeds. And I don't need those plants. So whenever they get established, I will be testing my mailing abilities because I want to learn how to ship things to people. So a lucky few people will be getting some free dwarf moringa plants. So keep your eye out for it because
we talked about the herbs, and that's what I'll be doing, the herb garden.
Yeah. Yeah. You said my first shout out. Whoop, whoop, ha, ha, ha. Now, Apartment Gardener, do you have a YouTube channel? Because if you do, I'm gonna come check you out. I'm starting moringa seeds also. I've been holding on to them for months. Turf, you have like 10 videos to do tomorrow. I know, right? Listen, but I do all of mine. Another one that I'm doing right now, I'll go ahead and let the cat out the bag. I'm teaching you, well, I told you earlier, but if you weren't here earlier, I'm doing the easiest way possible recipe to make wine. Just the easiest way to make wine. You'll see. It's gonna be dope. You're
Back
gonna
in the day, what they told us just bull grapes and sugar and yeast and water.
it's gonna be simpler than that. It's gonna be simpler than that. So y'all, I think y'all gonna enjoy this one. I did all the hard work for you. If you just follow
Have you
along with
done
me with
anything
your
with wine,
recipe.
like orange peels or anything like that?
What's that? I'm sorry, say it again.
Y'all done any videos with wine? Miss Craft did it with any kind of other like oranges or anything like that?
No, so Miss Craft and I, we just did apples. We did an apple wine, which we will be revealing March 20th. I think that's the first day of spring. We're gonna go live and we're gonna unbottle our wine, sit back and have a nice little chat with you guys. And we should have some pretty big announcements coming that day as well. And I think Led might even join us if he's not too scared to get his butt whipped with his wine making contest. I think I got them. Y'all know I'm a world renowned pro. I know everything to know about. You see me, I'm looking for my credentials. Let me go find my credentials real quick. I'm a world renowned brewmaster now, because the kid got that first place right there. So got some things that I'm coming for you. So yeah, so it'd be fun. Just stay tuned. You say bring on the wine. I have 2 gallons in the process. I got about 20 gallons in the process.
Woo!
Right now. Like, you'll see in the video, I show you how to make the simple brew. You'll see my factory of wine brewery that
Well, I'm gonna need something like that.
I got going on. Yeah.
Put some wine in my wine fridge.
Yeah, Turf looking for his medal. Yeah. Oh, thank you, lovely ladies, gardening projects and more. Okay, I like that. I might, I'm gonna come check you out within the next 48 hours. Nice. We need to start a wino club. I know, right? We need to do that. I just watched and do. My uncle turned me on to lead. He passed a few months ago. I'm sorry to hear that. I just lost my aunt a few weeks ago. So blessings to you. I hope you're doing well. The best gift he gave me, and Led turned me on to you. That's what I'm talking about. Led, he's an amazing guy.
On the knowledge.
He's always looking to lift us up in this community as much as possible. So and Gigi said my wine was fire. That's what I'm talking about, Gigi. And just for that, you'll be getting a special bottle of a special batch that I didn't show you how I made the batch, but I'm definitely going to probably go live when I do the final racking of that batch. Racking off, shirt coming soon. Racking off with Turf.
That's amazing. You gotta remember to put that down.
Yeah, racking off with Turf. Hi, Led. It's funny. I've been shouting you out all over yours, and here I get a hello. And over here I get a hello. Yeah, so his live got a lot more traffic feed to try to keep up with. So you got to forgive him. He missed me half of the day going time. So and I got a wrench. So
I
Donnie
used to live in Columbia a long time ago, Led. Long time ago.
Right.
Long time ago.
Yeah, Led Farmer said, "Oh, junk sounds like I hear some ish talking going." Yeah, we talking ish. We talking ish. Time for me to start whining. Yep, it's on now. That's what I'm talking about. I want to put a fire on you real quick. You better get that wine ready. You got about 2 months to catch up. Ain't nothing like a good garden family. Ain't that the truth?
Yes.
I have a lot of wine recipes. Oh, do share. My email is I'm going to go ahead and drop this in here real quick. I'm gonna need all those cheat codes. Here we go. turftherapy.net. You want to slide those in my inbox. I'll be happy to give them a test drive here on the channel from you. B. Davis, my man. I got turned on the gardening by Robert Theodore.
gave you all.
This dude, you are my ideal, and I want to be like you. My idol, I think he meant, and I want to be like you when I grow up. B. Davis, thanks for popping in, brother. Another wonderful YouTuber. I've seen him take the yards that look like trash, and he just made you love him. You know, he's the he king, the grass that no one wants, but he took it, loved it, and made it look beautiful. And he recently just moved to Texas, and he's out there doing some really cool things in Texas too. So B. Davis, don't forget to check him out. Brandon Davis is not his channel though. It's actually a long time coming. A long time coming. Go ahead and check that brother out. I got something real special in the works for you all. I like it. Yeah. Led's live, be live. They sure do. Thank you. Sorry about your aunt. Yeah, you know, life. It's like life in the garden. That New Orleans garden. She just dropped the video. Made me think of her. Boom. She said, you know, gardening is like life. You have death and you have life in the garden. It's all a cycle. So, you know, you enjoy the time that you had with those people, just like you enjoy the time that you had with those plants. You take advantage of them as much as possible, and when they're gone, and you just have those beautiful memories to hold close and dear to your heart. So that's that. But I appreciate your condolences.
Y'all gonna make me emotional. My sister's still here. She knows I'm emotional.
We'll share 50-year-old wine recipes. That's what I'm talking about. I can see that thumbnail now. 50-year-old wine recipe. Change your life forever. You know, something like that. And matter of fact, I'm going to send you I'm going to get you I'm going to get a sample to you. Let me not incriminate myself. I'm going to make sure you try your 50-year-old recipe to make sure that you approve. How about that? Posting it by TC. Yes, she is. Great. Looking forward to those 50-year-old wine recipes at Ellen Pankey. Well, yeah. Any more questions, guys? We've been having a blast. How long have we been on here? 2.5 hours? Wow. I can't drink wine. I get to drink. You sure you're not drinking right now? Been drunk. Yeah. This is what you gotta do. You drink a glass of wine, 2 glasses of water. That's it. Just it's balance. A glass of wine, 2 glasses of water, a piece of bread. You'll be all right. I have to go. I'll check back in later. Back to work. Okay, what you a paramedic, firefighter? You a paramedic, apartment gardener? You got to keep you close. People that know how to save lives. That's invaluable skills right there. Yes, keep you close.
Everybody gonna need saving one day.
Yeah. What you got, Beauty? Talk to the people. Looks like the chat's slowing down a bit. Any last parting words you want to give them? I don't want to keep y'all too long. I don't have to work tomorrow, so if you leave it up to me. We'll be here for much longer than y'all.
Yes, you have videos to do. What you mean?
I mean, that's not work. That's therapy. So I'm gonna get. I mean, you know, we gonna.
You got that's 10 videos. Remember now.
Yeah. I got dwarf moringas. I need to get going. And then lavender. We gotta do that stratification. And that's really it. Then I'm going to harvest the rest of my greens. I'm going to cook some of them for you. But I need to get the rest of my harvest up and out the way so I can start prepping and getting my beds ready, because in about 2 months, I'll be putting stuff right back in them. So there's things that, you know, I waited as long as possible to see if they were going to give me the heads or the Brussels, and they're not going to give me anything. So I'm just going to take the leaves, blanch them, freeze them, cook what I can for now.
Well, you know, once you want, is your Brussels small?
No. So the plants grew. You know, I had plenty of leaves. I've been eating the leaves, crushing them left and right. And there's only one plant that started to develop the sprout underneath it, but they just never really formed. Now, one of the reasons why is because there's too many plants in one container. I understand that it was a mistake made. The other reasons why is because I just don't think I fed them enough at the right times. I'm just going to be honest. I think I dropped the ball there. Don't worry. I'm going to try them again. It's not over. You know,
I'm like once it warms up a little bit coming into spring, your head starts to form, and those things will start to get that energy that it needed, because it's cold, it still wants to stay kind of closed off.
Right. So for the one that looks like it's starting to form Brussels, maybe I'll leave that one to see if it bounces back. Just like I'm gonna leave a couple Morris heading, collards out there. So I got 4 collards plants. 2 of them are almost a year old. So I'm going to end their cycle, although I know that they would probably continue to produce, but I'm just going to start some fresh ones. The other 2 that are only as old as this fall, I'm going to pick them back, but leave enough leaves for them to, stay alive. And then that'll be my shortcut to an early harvest come this spring. And I'll have brand new plants coming in as well.
Then you have to remove those leaves anyways.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, you still have to remove just, that heart of the top of the Brussels anyways. You remove all the rest.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And that brings the energy to those
little it's almost like when I saw them coming out, they reminded me of like those second and third tertiary. I don't remember the proper terminology of the second layer of leaves and whatnot, but it just looks like those Brussels second leaves. They don't come out like a stem of a leaf. They just form these little tiny heads of cabbages. So I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, that's what it is. You probably get something. If you don't, you'll probably get them in like little florets.
Right.
They're more loose. They're not tight. You might get them in, they taste just as good. So.
Oh, Kwamzia, that's another video I'm doing tomorrow. So I got some. I mentioned in my last live that I was going to be doing a video on my last summer harvest that I did, and it was on my habaneros and jalapenos, and I turned that into a hot sauce. It was actually inspired by the Grow Family Network, his fire water that he makes. I took it a couple steps further, and I really got that consistency that I wanted, and I got the color profile that I really wanted. And it was so good that it's kind of ruined us. Like, we got hot sauce in the house that we bought from the store, and it just don't hit the same. So I will be making a video showing you how I make my hot sauce Turf's way. So that's coming soon as well.
I love hot sauce.
So y'all just, let me, it's good that you're here, because now you're getting all the info, the inside scoop behind the scenes. You said Jay Rohn said LST. Yeah, we on LST for real right now, but we having a good time. Y'all having a good time. Don't worry, Turf, we'll email you the list. That's what I'm talking about, Donnie. Yeah, email me the list, guys. Hold me accountable. Yankee Sister, yes, just saw the drop video from your auntie T-Nog, Lady 511, right? Yeah, that's right, Lady 511. C7, same here. I told someone about Turf the other day. He trying to get his lawn together. All right, send him my way. I'm gonna be doing a nice little series leading into this new season. If he's a cool season lawn, I can help him. If he's a warm season lawn, there's other great channels out there that you can check out. The Lawn Tools. I really love Budget Lawns. He just has a very simplistic, reasonable way approach. The Lawn Shark, very relatable guy, using common tools that everybody can get their hands on. Will, Chips and Guac. I'm sure I'm missing someone I shouldn't have started naming, because now I'm forgetting somebody. I'm sure they're mad. And Clausen World makes a sriracha. So there you go. She makes sriracha. Super TA, what's going on, brother? I haven't seen you in a while. You saw the hot sauce. Jeremy Burris, my battle. That's what I'm talking about, brother. Thanks for popping in, Jeremy Burris. I appreciate you. Kwamzia Hudson, spicy. Yeah, my jalapenos are getting huge. Okay, all right. Jay Rona, it's all good. I think I'm going to do cayenne at Clausen World. Okay, cool. That's interesting. It's okay. Cayenne. You mean well, sir. I do mean well. If you're talking to me, I do mean well. My wife, we was having an argument last night doing some pillow talk, and she was trying to convince me that your intent meant more than your actions. I said no, because you can intend to do a whole bunch of stuff and never do it, and that don't mean nothing to me.
Travel tonight.
Yeah. Okay. You were talking to me. Cool. Well, all right, guys. I don't have any other reason to keep you here. I've tried to hand this off to Beauty, and we've gone off on a rant a few times. So one last time, I give it back to you. Say goodbye to these lovely people. Let them know where they can find you. Just plug it up, plug it all the way through.
All right, you guys, this is basically our end of our video tonight. So I enjoyed, this was my first live, you guys. I enjoyed it. I wish I could have saw the comments, but it would be hard to kind of pay attention to both. So I really enjoyed it. It was very fun. It was very inspiring as well, that I can actually feel a little bit more comfortable about going live on my own. If we do need any questions or anything like that, you can inbox me on Beauty in the Garden on Facebook or even on Instagram as well. And I can pretty much try to answer more questions. You can go on the channel Beauty in the Garden and see what you guys might need to know from there. And if what I don't have posted, you can always contact me that way.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
thanks, guys.
Yeah. So,
and like you said, I always do my little thing. Remember, there's beauty in everyone's garden.
That's right. In everyone's garden. Because when you go see hers, it's probably going to make you feel a little bad about yourself. I'm just going to let you know that right now.
Oh, no. I'm going to show some flaws. How about that?
That's right. We need to see some flaws. Show us some flaws. Yes, it's been real,
guys. I'm very nitpicky. I've just always been that way. It's just like if a plant doesn't do or perform the way I want it to do, I don't waste the time. You got to go. Gotta go.
Nope.
And start a new one. If I have time left, we're going to put this in some dirt right fast. Yeah. So I don't waste my time on a plant that I feel like ain't gonna cut.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Yeah, great live. First time catching you. Thank you, Whole News Perspective. I'm glad that you had a good time on your first live. I hope that everyone learned something tonight. I truly appreciate you, T, taking the time to come on here and not only share your information and your knowledge with myself, but with the community of gardeners that are here and lawn care enthusiasts that are here tonight. I truly appreciate you taking the time to do this. I consider it an honor to have you on this channel because you know way more than me, simply as that. So you didn't have to do this.
Well, I'm glad I was able to help your wife to be stress-free.
Yeah, that too. The GMO seeds, don't stress about them GMO seeds when you go in the big box stores. It's just a marketing ploy. So, pay attention to where those seeds are coming from, because just like with lawn care equipment that's rebranded and it costs more money because it's got a particular name on it, but it's the same product that the other person is selling, seeds work the same way, ladies and gents. So I appreciate everyone for joining. Oh yeah, love notes. Hit the like button on your way out. Go over and show Miss T some love on Beauty in the Garden. And I will see you guys tomorrow night, not on my channel, but on Ben the Lawn Guardian's channel. We'll probably do a little bit of garden talk, but it'll be mostly structured probably around lawn care and just some fly by night, two guys having a conversation and kicking back. So if you want to come over there, I'll have a community post sometime tomorrow or tonight. As soon as I see his post that I can share on mine. And then that's pretty much it. The next live you'll see me doing, my next guest is going to be this Saturday with Gigi from Gigi Naturals. We're bringing her on. This lady, she's a businesswoman. She's a wife. She's a gardener. She's doing it all over there. And we're going to go check in with her and see how has this year been trying to be a businesswoman and dealing with the pandemic that has ravished this nation, the world, how many adjustments she's had to make, and being new to YouTube, how that has brought some type of new challenges or new interesting things in her life. So it should be a pretty good conversation. Tomorrow we'll be doing that Saturday. I don't know if we landed on the time yet, but it'll probably be somewhere between 4 and 6 p.m. I'll make the post tomorrow at some point, so you can go ahead and hit your reminder bells to check in for that if you'd like to. And then we'll have another live here on my channel on Monday. I'll let you know who that's going to be on Saturday, but you're not going to want to miss that one either. It's going to be fun. Then after that, we'll take a break because I got to go play Army and go be cold in the middle of nowhere. So more on that later though. All right. Well, thank you again, T. I appreciate you. Thank you everyone for being here. And we'll catch you guys next time.
All right, everybody. Have a blessed night.